What we do here is go back.
I'm actually a minute early this time. Eat my dick. Hello everyone. My hair's especially mental today. What the fuck is going on with that? I should actually brush my hair when I get out of the shower, shouldn't I? Fuck off. That's the one guarantee I give you people. I will always look a little bit dishevelled. Even at my best. Even at my best. Hello there, Wayward Historian. Thank you for gifting, for resubscribing 40 months. 40. 40. Are you proud of yourself? Are you proud that this is where you're at in life? Really? You've let yourself down, but more importantly, you've let me down. I thought better of you. Everyone boo Wayward Historian. Imagine. Everyone just pointlessly fucking hate on the only person who puts any effort into this fucking channel. Fuck yes. Oh. Anyway, how are we all? Apologies, I've been away for a couple of days. It's been an interesting sporting couple of days. England won. I don't want to talk about it. And the Celtics won. Fuck yes. Let's go. Champions. Let's have it. Anyway, so that's all been fun. I mean, none of that should have really completely stopped me from streaming, but it's a thing. Anyway, I don't know if you can hear next door's fucking babby crying as well, a little cunt. Honestly, he better grow up. This fucking child next door, this infant, this baby. If he doesn't grow up to like cure cancer or something, I am going to be disappointed. Because I've had to put her with a lot of nonsense now. Crying. Just generally existing in my presence while being stupid. I don't need it. I hope...
Stop it. Get some help.
Well, thank you very much, Late Night Boss. Much love. I bet you were allowed a baby. Apparently I was. Yes. No, I was. Why don't you want to talk about England winning? Were they that shit? It's not that they were. It's not that they were that shit necessarily, right? Oh God, I don't even want to get into this because no one cares, right? But the manager never changes anything. Like, he's an excellent manager before the game, and he's quite a good manager after the game. But during the game, he's fucking shit. Like okay. So we were playing against Serbia, playing very well for half an hour. Serbia made a tactical change. That's perfectly acceptable. That's what I would expect a professional team run by a professional manager to do. They made a tactical change, completely switched things around. They got on top of the game a little bit. And England at no point went, shall we maybe make a tactical change of our own to reflip the script again? Because it seems like we've been on the back foot for the last fucking hour of this game. And they just didn't. They just didn't bother. They just were, oh, we're 1-0 up, fuck it, who cares? Like, it's so frustrating, because we could have won that game very easily and had the last 20 minutes be a nice, calm, relaxing stroll in the fucking park, 3-4-0 up. If we'd pressed the gas in that first hour, but we just didn't do it. He's incapable of making changes. We went 1-0 up in the World Cup semi-final against Croatia. Croatia make a tactical change. Who won that fucking game? Croatia. Went 1-0 up early in the fucking final of the last European Championship. Italy made a fucking tactical change. Who won that game? Italy. He makes the same fucking mistake every time. It's so annoying. Did we lose again? No, we didn't even lose. That's the annoying... I shouldn't be annoyed. We won. We won the game. You think, okay, that's really good. We got off to a winning start in the tournament. Awesome. But you can see the same mistake. You can tell against the better teams you were going to get punished in exactly the same ways that we have before. And he's going to waste yet another opportunity where we could have won a tournament to not do so. And this is why I didn't want to talk about it. And I've been debated. You know what? It's my fault. I'm better than you. I'm the streamer. I'm a better human being than you plebeians in chat. I shouldn't have allowed you to debate me like this. I shouldn't have. I should have risen above it. Tish tish. The Celtics won though. They're fucking awesome. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, thank you, Late Night Bus, for subscribing. Did I already read that one out? I can't even remember. You subscribed with Prime. Much love to you. And thank you to Lord Fritos for gifting a sub to Hoffman. We are on a hype train. If we get to level 2 of the hype train, I will finger Gareth Southgate's bum bum. Not just because he made me cry when I was 9 years old. That actually happened. He has no idea about it, obviously, but it did happen. He missed... He missed a penalty against Germany in 1996. I cried. I literally cried that night. I was only like 9 years old. So I think it's okay. I don't think it makes you gay if you're 9. I think it's fine, actually. See what I did there? Pointless. Anyway. Yeah, but I'll also finger him because he's not very good at tactically changing games of football, which is very annoying and inconvenient for the person who's supposed to be doing that. And you can make that fingering happen with bits and subs if you are so interested. Fogel, I'm not even fucking going to start with you tonight. Trying to fucking rooster debate me. It's a stiff dick of poop. It was a stiff dick of poop, Kev. You're quite correct. Trying to look from nowhere on the Discord. At no point did anyone mention rooster or anything remotely applying to it, and they just put rooster question mark, and it annoyed me. Yeah, no, because I was checking my thing, saying like, did I accidentally type rooster? And I was thinking, well, I didn't put it on my phone, so it couldn't have been like autocorrect or anything. So I don't even know what the fuck's going on. Yeah, they should stop it, Michael. You're quite correct. It's a pertinent interruption. Thank you. And then, so I was like, so there's nothing to do with rooster. Why have you typed rooster question mark? You're throwing me off my game. And my game's weak as piss anyway. Did you see the game yesterday? Only an Austrian can defeat an Austrian. That's true. Only an Austrian can defeat an Austrian. Which is how Hitler went down. Suicide. Partner Push 2024. Thank you, thank you, Lord Fruitus, for gifting a sub to a fucking police officer. And thank you to Wester9 for resubscribing with Prime 32 months. 32. 32 many. You need to read this dramatically. Do I indeed? What is this? I'm personally going to... Oh, hang on. Ooh. I'm personally going to force games companies to put all the stuff you hate. This is quite long. You have asked me to read a quite long article there. Like, that is... I mean, it might be funny as fuck, but I don't know. If we get to level 3 of the hype train, there we go. Let's put your money where your fucking mouth is. If we get to level 3 of the hype train, I will read out whatever the fuck this bollocks is. Okay? I will. I'll do it. This thing. That. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's called The Gamer. So presumably it's inordinately racist, I imagine. I can only imagine this involves liberal use of the N-word. One would suspect. I have no idea. Have a Nick Funes Catboy. Yeah, I mean that is as described. That is Nick Funes as a catboy. He's even got the little paw socks. That is a thing. That is a thing that exists. Although nothing beats the Andrew Tate liking a picture of himself with massive naturals. Don't know if everyone saw that one. He liked a picture of himself with Big Babylons. So, you know, just... It's a thing. Then save it for Christy so you can take turns, but it's so good. Well, clearly the audience don't think it's that good, because they're not even going to get me to level 3, so... Seems like they don't give a fuck about me reading this. Which is, you know what? Absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. I had no plan on doing it anyway. Hello there to YouTube. By the way, everyone, you can hit the follow button. You can go and subscribe. Subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can give subs to the community. You can do super chats via the Streamlabs link below. You can do bits messages. 200 bits or more gets you a text to speech. You can help me out on Patreon and or PayPal. Especially the PayPal, because I'm broke as fuck right now. You can also go over to the Discord, the Facebook, the YouTube, the Blue Sky, and TikTok. If you're on YouTube, you can't give me any money, but you can like the stream. You can hit the subscriberino button for fuck all. You can also come over to twitch.tv/KFLogan1875 and just cradle my balls if you want to. That's a thing you can do. It's entirely your business. Anyway, we've got a few things to get through tonight.
Stop it. Get some help.
Thank you, Frayed Not, for subscribing with Prime. Although I'm afraid not that we haven't got to the thing. So no read. Tough shitty shit. Right, streamers are going mental at the minute. Why are streamers picking fights that they can't possibly win? Why are they doing this? Why has this become a thing? I don't know. Sneako. Sneako is a piece of shit. A shill wanker. He tried to get the America First crowd into this nightclub in, I think, somewhere like Miami. I think it was Florida. Anyway, being turned down, giving the finger to the security guard. That's the setup for all of that. Okay?
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Now, if you're ever in this situation where a beefy black security guard is about to
Get some help.
Now, again, we will just go back. Notice that Sneako knocks his hat off. 1 second, just notice that. Reaches forward, hat gone.
Now, if you're ever in this
And then there's a Superman punch on him. Thank you, Miss Hire, for subscribing with Prime. 31 months. Much fucking love to you. Much love.
situation where a beefy black security guard is about to Thanos punch you in your fucking
Thanos,
mouth,
but
you've
he is.
obviously
He's
made the
gone
wrong...
like full Superman. Like he's pulled it back and he's about. Look, people. He jumped. He's now got gravity working on his side. He's above you. He's jumped. And he's now like fucking over 9,000 punching you. It's mental.
choices tonight, and when you end up missing part of your teeth because of it, you may want to think about becoming an introvert. Last night, Sneako was at this party of some sorts, and from the video, it looks like everyone is mad at the security guard for not letting something happen. He's yelling at everyone, everyone's yelling back at him, and eventually they just start a fuck you chant that the security guard just starts dancing to.
So he's already said, get your cameras out of my face. They're flipping the bird. The hat goes. And he reacts. Now, does he overreact? You could argue certainly. But what you can't really argue is that Sneako also didn't deserve to get his teeth knocked out. Which is what did happen.
Okay, what are you? What are you? What are you? What are you? Fuck you! 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 Fuck you!
I like how the security guard specifically pointed at this guy and he got mad and he's like, "Hey, who you talking to? You talking to me? Well, there's no one else here, so you must be talking to me. I'm Robert De Niro. I'm Taxi Man."
You're a slut. Okay, what are you? What are you? What are you? What are you? Fuck you.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, aspiring ally. Firstly, nice cop behaviour there. Always resort to violence, do you, police officer? Yeah, I see how that works. Anyway, but no, that's what I mean. Like, I think he does overreact ever so slightly. The hat flipping off is not nice. It is technically assault. And then to go full Superman fucking jump and punch thing, which, like, you see that in action movies. Who the fuck has ever punched like that? It's mental. That's like doing it with a flourish. It's beautiful. Anyway, but yeah, if you do put hands on someone like that, if you fuck around with someone's personal shit, yeah, you might get fucking ninja punched. Yeah. You might get ninja punched into next week. That's a very significant possibility.
But if you guys remember, a couple days ago, this wannabe Aiden streamer was with Bradley Martin and took his hat. Now, I don't know how to explain it, but that is the exact interaction I've...
What are you doing? What are you doing, mate? Look, this little streak of piss on the left. Look at him. Look at him. Fucking 4 stone in a fucking wetsuit, right? And this beefcake guy, and he takes his fucking hat. You're lucky to walk away from that interaction, mate. What are you doing?
I've been waiting to see with Bradley Martin. If you can be that buff and still be that insecure about your balding, he's lucky everyone around him is actually too scared to really make fun of him. I think
don't be taking someone's fucking hat. Don't do it. Just don't do it. That's not a good idea.
that's why he got buffed, so it would actually deter people from making fun of him in front of his face. You guys think, though, that when his head is exposed, he starts going bald, 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 like in his head, but from like that SpongeBob movie?
Well, even if he wasn't bald, let's say he wasn't bald, let's say it's got nothing to do with the fucking thing. Like, the actual interaction, because I saw the original clip, and he's just going, give me my hat back, give me my hat back, give me my hat back, and he just, you know, don't be taking people's shit. You steal someone's shit, you might get knocked the fuck out. Especially when that guy's a foot taller than you, and let's be honest, I think actually, if he was in handcuffs and feet cuffs, he would still be able to knock him out. Just by like flopping on him or something. Like you are a fucking beanpole. You are a stick. You are a twiglet.
Oh, I didn't know that was bad.
But back to Sneako. So after
I didn't know that was bad. I didn't know that was bad. I think you did. I think, sir, you did in fact know that what you were doing was bad.
After everyone starts chanting "fuck you" and the security guard starts dancing, Sneako's like, let me just boop off the cap, and no more than a second later does this dude jump and throw a flying haymaker right into Sneako's fucking mouth. Right.
Which is funny. Now, we'll get back to that in just a second. It does remind me though of John Zerka getting his shit pushed in. Completely different situation. Do you remember John Zerka? Has his fucking far right friend. Anyway, he went up to some dude in a bar with, you'll notice, gear on, okay? He's got fucking gloves and shit on. He goes there looking for a fight, antagonises him, and then gets his shit pushed in.
Hey, chill, boys! Oh, boys.
Boom! Puts him down once.
Chill!
Down twice. He's been put down twice already.
Oh, chill, boys! Chill!
What are you doing?
Yo, you guys... Stop!
They now start fucking, I think, whilst he's also still punching him.
Stop!
But the camera's for real. Right, get off,
Stop.
Zerka, get off. Bro, I can control
Chill.
right now.
Chill!
I don't know about you, I'm feeling very relaxed right now. I'm feeling very, very chill about this whole entire situation. I'm glad there's someone telling us to feel chill about this, because I'm definitely like, oh, That's like a good Xanax. That's taking me down. It's a good place.
Get off.
Chill! Boys, get off! Off! Don't do off! Off!
Get
Off!
off.
Off!
Off.
Brilliant. So you ended up being made to look like an absolute tool. Love it. Love it.
Right into his teeth, to be precise. Now, just because Sneako does get a lot of hate, I wanted to make sure that was actually him, and this wasn't just two clips being put together. Because, like, I thought the guy who hit them had a designer hoodie on with these designs on the back. Sneako just has these words on the front. But then, if you look up this brand on their Instagram, Sneako is modeling this exact hoodie. So just by going off this, it is in fact Sneako who hit the security guard's hat off. And a lot of people...
So frankly, justice was done then, really. You put your hands on people, yeah, they're gonna knock your fucking shit out, mate. Yeah, no, fuck you.
And the replies aren't really paying attention to that and are just paying attention to the punch that was thrown. And I mean, I don't blame them. I don't think I've ever seen a punch like that be thrown outside
amazing.
of a movie. But here's what they said when...
It's a movie punch. That's like a fucking... That's a Spider-Man baddie punch or some shit.
And everyone was outside.
We got Sneako here. He's got this busted up tooth. Smile for me, man.
Oh! Oof.
Security guard at this thing, at this event, right up here. We got this guy jumped off the stage. No one attacked this guy. Punched Sneako.
Oh, did no one attack that guy? Are you sure about that? Are you sure? Are you sure, in fact, that nobody attacked him? Because I think you'll find the video that you took suggests that he was actually physically accosted after being verbally abused, and therefore, I think, reacted, whilst a little strong, well within legal limits.
In the face. No one touched him. He jumped off the stage.
Are you sure no one touched him? Was it a particularly strong breeze that knocked his hat off whilst his hand just happened to be right there? Who knows?
It hit Sneako in the face. I watched the whole thing happen. This was just right now?
Just now.
Just fucking happened.
The guy
I will see a cursed animation, yeah.
that he shut off the speech to go play his music, he just got rocked in the face. But I'm a non-violent person. You know, I care about America first. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man. We'll take it through the legal necessary.
You're the legal necessary. Shut the fuck up. You filmed it, mate.
Ways we gotta do.
Now, I'm not a lawyer, but just by going off this video, Sneako is better off just spending his money getting his teeth fixed.
Leave it.
Because you can't touch someone first and not expect them to do something back. Yeah, one was a little more extreme than the other, but that's what you get trying to be funny. And he obviously got hit a little too hard because he says, I just got rocked in the face, but I'm a non-violent person. I care about America.
I'm a non-violent person. The guy's punch was so powerful, he knocked pacifism into him. I'm a non-violent person. He's turned him into a fucking Buddhist. He Kung Fu Panda punched him. He's turned him into a fucking Taoist monk. Oh.
First, that's what I'm all about.
He just got rocked in the face, but I'm a non-violent person. You know, I care about America first. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, this dude doesn't know whether he's giving a post-fight interview or running for fucking president. I don't care who you are. I know.
True. A mixture of a post-fight interview and a stump speech.
For a fact, his mouth is hurting. His bottom teeth look out of place also. Bro's gonna need a full dental reconstruction. Some might say this is karma for everything Sneako has said over the past years, and some might say it's because he knocked the security guard's hat off. Whatever it is.
It's both. It's absolutely both. That's fine. I ain't got no fucking problem with that. God damn. Okay. Scene. It'll be different when he sobers up. Oh, that's the worst. Yeah. That's the... I genuinely, right, the football, this happened. We were back when we used to sit right at the top of one of the stands at Birmingham Centre. A guy who was, like, drunk off his fucking face. Right, this was before the game had even kicked off. He was absolutely wrecked. I saw him fall down the entire flight of steps. Right, which has got to be 50 steps. 40 odd steps maybe. Concrete. No, that's it. Just concrete, right? Bouncing. Boom, 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 boom. All the way fucking down. Smashed into like the metal barrier at the bottom. Got up and just walked off. I thought he was going to be fucking dead. I was genuinely scared he would die. I saw his head bounce off the concrete and shit. Right? And he just got up and just walked off. And I just thought to myself, he's going to wake up in the morning with broken bones and all kinds of fucked up shit. But it was just the drunkenness that just sort of... He just sort of flopped down the stairs. Fucking incredible. I thought he was going to die. He might well have died. The internal bleeding may have taken him during the night. Who knows? Or he might have choked on fucking vomit. Who knows? But it's you know. He was fine though. It's again because he was drunk. What in the fuck is the... Okay. What is this now?
Gentlemen, we've had success with phase 1. Expensive cars.
Vroom.
Money.
Classic Tate W.
And most importantly, women. We do be getting them bitches though.
Classic Tate W, man. You're the best. Women.
But it's time now for phase 2 of our journey. And that, gentlemen, is self-love. Observe closely, gentlemen. Oh,
Yo, is this real? Full send it, Taint. Yeah, hell yeah. Full send it, brother.
Well, I gotta try this.
Good idea.
Oh, fuck. Let me get a smoke off your cigar. Yeah. Oh, here, take that. Yeah, put that in your mouth. Okay, I will. Oh, fuck. Oh, blow that smoke out. Oh, I will.
Andrew, your cigar tastes so good.
Oh, my fucking God, that tastes so sweet. But not as sweet as you, baby.
Okay, this is just kink, isn't it? This is just kink now.
I don't think I have a mirror, eh? Oh, wait, yeah, here's one.
I'm a real tough bloke, aren't I? Oh,
Hey,
yeah,
wait.
You are. Oh, you are.
Hey,
you
wait.
dirty fuck. Hold on, baby,
Wait.
hold on.
Did he just give birth?
What's going on, lads? What's the problem?
You gave birth. That's like a woman thing, right?
Giving birth is like a woman thing. Yo, this is sus.
You can tell this is old because he's got all of his teeth.
Like, one of you guys are female or a woman or something, eh? I don't know, like, or something. Full send.
Guys, I'm not a female. If anything, he's the female. What are you talking about? You were the one calling me baby the whole time, which is classically a female move. Fine. Let's prove who's a man right now, then.
Fine! What is going on? Yeah, bro, this is crazy, man.
Who am I?
Bro, no! Oh. Bro! Yo, who will lead us now?
Money.
What did he say? What did you say, little baby?
Girls should wear leashes like the dogs they are.
Yo, full send it. Yo.
Stupid bitches!
What the fuck was that? Why did you send me this? What the fuck was this? What the fuck was that? Oh, thank you, Miss Hire, for resubscribing. I don't know why you would during that. This is fucking mental. Hang on, Noam Chomsky died, did he? This is the first I'm hearing of it. That would be most intriguing. I'm not seeing anything on the Beeb. Well, I suppose they wouldn't necessarily be the first to break it. Noam Chomsky. Did he die? No? I'm not seeing anything about him being dead. No, what are you talking about? The last news I've got was from 6 days, recovering in hospital. Chomsky is not dead, it's a rumour. You've debated me again, motherfuckers. That's 2 now. Rooster and fucking Chomsky. Which, by the way, is a buddy cop movie I definitely want to say. Anyway, what I don't want to see is fucking Keir Starmer. But we're going to anyway, because why not? Okie doke. Serious caps on now, people. Because I am the only person from now until whenever she's back the covering the British election. Because No Justice MTG is now off on her hollybobs. She's gone on holiday, thinking, like so many Tory backbench MPs, that the election would not be called this early. She has gone on holiday again, second holiday during the fucking election campaign, and so yeah, she's there's literally just me. I am now the only person on Twitch covering the British election at all. Nobody else, just me. And so you're stuck with me. I've literally got a captive audience. If you want to hear about the British election on Twitch, it's just me. Or I suppose you could go and ask one of those AI streams, like the Trump versus Biden AI, and it'll just say the same fucking thing over and over again. So, you know, there's that. I am politics, true. The New Statesman has reported his death. Well, give me a fucking link, Bilderberg. Don't tell me that they've reported it. Give me a link showing that they've reported it. I don't know why I was rude to you there. That was unnecessary. Anyway, so I genuinely, after this, right? This Keir Starmer did an hour section of call-ins during Nick Ferrari's show. And after this, I genuinely want anyone vaguely on the left to tell me why you would fucking ever vote for this evil cunt. And I say that diplomatically. To say that this hour of shite angered me doesn't even touch the fucking surface of it. Okay? Keir Starmer is a reactionary, right-eyed piece of shit. He doesn't really believe anything, but the degree to which he does, it's just reactionary filth. Because that's what he thinks will get him elected. He's a fucking Tory. He really is. Sir Kid Starver, or Sir Queer Harmer, comes out as a full fucking turfoid as well in this. So, you know. On top of everything else, he's a transphobic piece of shit. So we literally cannot possibly even justify voting Labour on a basis of harm reduction. Because I don't know what harm he's going to fucking reduce. What Tory harm is this man actually going to significantly diminish in any respect? Are any fucking Starmeroid, any Labouroid out there? Please tell me. Fucking tell me, any of you, how you can justify it. I'm all fucking ears. Tina, mother flipping 2. How are you? Hello there, Tina 2 Raiders. Everyone go and follow Tina 2. Who is a motherfucking badass. Yeah, I said it. And what? Hello, Tina viewers. I'm Kevin Logan, a socialist from the UK. And as such, we're going to be watching some UK-based politique. Stick around if you so wish. What's this? Oh, okay. It would appear it has. Oh, okay. Maybe he has died then. The New Statesman, for however much you want to put on the New Statesman being correct, are now saying that Noam Chomsky, US intellectual who's died at the age of 95. They're reporting his death. So, yeah, he has been very ill for a long time. And he is not, or was 95, so, yeah. Fucked up, man. I mean, look, I had my issues with him in terms of some of his, like, Serbia shit. Pretty dodge. But, no doubt a worthwhile leftist intellectual. Although if he could have shut the fuck up like 30 years ago, that might have been better, but... yeah. That's fucked up. Yeah. Yeah, let's put a downer on things, hasn't it? Do you see I got a call from Labour in the Discord? Did you, Rohak? Okay. What did they say? Is voting Tory for harm reduction then? No, Rich. I don't see that voting for either of these parties is substantially going to make any difference. No, I know you weren't trying to, Luna, that's fine. I don't see that voting either for Keir Starmer or Rishi Sunak is fundamentally going to actually change anything. I'm not going to... I'm not going to, like, split hairs on that, okay? They're basically the same fucking thing. I mean, Rachel Reeves today, the woman who will be Chancellor of the Exchequer very soon, if I spell her name right. News. Where is it? Hang on a minute. She came out with a thing today. Hang on, fingerprints. Here we go. So, Rachel Reeves, the woman who is apparently going to be the Chancellor of the Exchequer in a few weeks' time, told high-level bankers that their fingerprints are all over Labour. And she didn't say that in like an accusatory way. She wasn't like, and I would prefer them not to be, and here's how I'm going to change that. She was basically saying, that's good. I'm glad your fingerprints are all over us. We are one of you. The top Labour politician told attendees of the meeting in the City of London on Monday morning, which included the heads of both Lloyds Banking Group and Santander UK, that they had influenced the party's policy offerings on the economy. Because the ideas that we've set out in this manifesto on how to grow the economy are based on so many of the conversations I've had with businesses and investors over the last 3 years. How are they any different? Please, for the love of God, anyone tell me any fucking difference between Tory and Labour at this election. They're the fucking same thing. They're exactly the same thing.
And I welcome Sir Keir Starmer to the studio. It's been a privilege having you coming in to call Keir, Sir Keir. I have to say, I've rarely seen you in such exuberant form. This campaigning, it clearly suits you. Good morning.
I'm enjoying it.
Wow, do you want to give him a fucking hand job as well? What the fuck was that, Ferrari? You're going to hold his feet to the fire, are you? Wow, your penis is massive, Sir Keith. You really are an absolute fucking stallion. I would happily watch you fuck my wife and then clean up after you as my bull.
Nick, and thank you for having me on again. Because we've worked for 4.5 years for this. We've waited 4.5 years for this, and now we get the chance to go out there and make our case.
And it was frustrating when you took over because you couldn't actually talk to anyone.
It was really frustrating because I had to sort of get known. I couldn't travel. I couldn't speak to anyone. Even when the restrictions were lifted, the most I could do was groups of 6, 1 yard or 2 yards apart with a mask on. It's not the ideal circumstances.
Well,
and of course, during COVID, I took the decision that the country probably didn't want to see too much party politics because we were going through something very difficult. But look, that does feel like quite a long time ago now.
We'll go 1.25 because he is full of shit.
We are in this race, and there are individual fights in every constituency still to be had in this election, and polls don't predict the future. We have to fight for every vote.
Get your headphones on. We're coming to the first question, and it's Michelle in...
Actually, polls do predict the future. Yeah. Kinda.
Reigate. Michelle, you're through to Sir Keir Starmer. Morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Keir. I'm the head teacher of Moonhall School, which is a specialist school where 100% of my pupils have a diagnosed special educational need. 30% of my pupils don't have an educational healthcare plan to exempt them from the VAT charge and would be forced into the state sector, where we know that their needs cannot be met. To note, these families send their child to my school out of necessity for their child. Has Sir Keir fully thought this policy through, and does he know what the true impact of these plans could be on these vulnerable children and indeed their families who have already been through a traumatic time simply fighting for what their child needs?
This is, of course, adding VAT on school fees. Michelle, stay on the line. Sir Keir Starmer.
Yeah, Michelle, let me just set out what our policy is and then come to the point you rightly make about special needs. The policy is to recruit 6,500 teachers to our state secondary school.
Racism, homophobia and sexism if you want to watch. Smiley face. Also despunkify Sneako security guard.
There's an epidemic.
Why are men so lonely? Redeemed Zoomer. Oh, that looks horrific. I'll save that for later. That goes in the watch later column. We'll see. Thank you, Elliot, for the bitty bits.
Schools in subjects like maths, because we don't have those teachers there, and many people listening, parents listening, will be familiar with maths at our state secondaries being taught by supply teachers, by PE teachers, and for me that's not acceptable. We have to fill those spaces, and we will get rid of the VAT break on private schools in order to pay for it, Michelle, because money is tight, we don't have a magic wand, and we have to fully cost and fully fund everything that we do. On the question of special educational needs, because this is a serious issue, Michelle, and I do take it really seriously, we have put in place for our plan an exemption for anyone with special educational needs who's on a plan that requires them to be in a different kind of school. If that's a private school, then that
This
then
is
means they're
EHC
exempt.
plan, Sir Keir. It's Education, Health and Care Plan, EHC
Yeah,
plan.
so if it's part of the plan, and the plan, because of the particular needs, can only be met, let's say, in a private school,
yes,
then that child or that fee is exempt.
Okay, but in that situation, if they're on a plan that can only be met by a private school and they can't afford a private school, then what? Then they're just fucked, I guess. Also, yes, he could just raise corporation tax, he could do wealth taxes, he could do all kinds of things. This is the point, right? You can't, Keith, on the one hand, and I'm going to continue to call him Keith for the next 10 years, so get used to that. I am not going to talk... no, I'm not going to ignore the fact that when it comes to the one issue in which you're going to do tax and spend, i.e. you're going to close a tax loophole and use that money to fund spending in another area, which is basically how, tax and spend works, and then make that argument, it then undermines your argument that you can't do that in any other area. Because you could just raise a different tax, or even create a brand new tax. But realistically, just, governments don't particularly like doing that because it doesn't look great. You could raise a certain tax on a certain, rich band of people and use that to spend on, well, anything, literally anything that you've claimed you can't spend money on because there isn't money there. But we know there's money there, Keith, because you're literally saying the times are tough, rich people are going to have to pay. You undermine your own fucking argument for economic austerity in one tiny area. It's so peculiar. It really is. And I don't even mind the policy. The policy's fine. He's just full of shit in every other area. That's the annoying thing.
Exempt from our scheme, and therefore they are outside of the change that we're making. So, Michelle, that would account for a number of people that...
But not all of them.
But not, I mean, Michelle, you're, I think, talking about people who haven't necessarily got a plan like that.
Well, let's get Michelle
but certainly the way we've done it, Michelle, is to say if there is a plan, then you're exempt.
Let me just give some numbers before I get Michelle back in. The number of pupils receiving EHC at SEND schools, 7,600 pupils at private schools get SEND support with EHC. 103,000 do not, Sir Keir. That's 7,600 will be catered for, 103,000 will not. What does Labour plan to do about that?
Well, Nick, we've, where there is a plan in place, we will put the example.
All of this focus on private school kids and not on, everyone else's kids tells you who makes the news, doesn't it? It tells you very much who makes the news, who pumps out this garbage, who sets the national agenda, and in whose favour they are setting that agenda.
Exemption in place. Where there isn't a plan, then that exemption doesn't apply.
Right, but you talk about these new maths teachers. Nick Robinson worked out that that's about a third of a teacher for each school.
No, Nick, he did put that to me, but
and it was true. He'd worked out the number of schools, 6,005. They've each got a third of a teacher.
This is specifically targeted at the teachers that are missing in the core subjects like maths. So it's
a third of a teacher. What more do you need?
It's not a.
In many respects, that can be used as a teachable moment, can't it, for the kids? Right? You take your third of a teacher, and the third of the teacher themselves can then say, look, I am a living pie chart, okay? I am 1/3. If there were 3 of me, I'd be one whole thing. And you can teach kids mathematics in a practical, visual way with your third of a teacher. Percentages are important. Fractions are important.
Question of lots and lots of extra teachers for all subjects. It's specifically for the subjects that are missing. And Nick, just let me, because maths is really important for our youngsters. If you're 14,
you don't have a third of a maths teacher, Sir Keir.
No, but we put them in the schools where there's a problem with the maths teacher.
Nick, you are, in theory, a journalist, but what I will say is you are a simpleton? Is that? That's probably not a politically correct phrase, is it? You are a fucking boob. You are a chicken sniffer. You are just a stupid human being. No one is like, I did the joke. Yeah, of course I pre-watched this. I told you earlier it made me angry. I know, I've seen this fucking man. At his most full of shite would suggest sending third of a fucking teacher to a school. Presumably 1 in 3 schools would get a teacher. Or whatever. Fucking hell, man. Oh, God. It's like watching Kay Burley. She's so stupid, she puts politicians off. Kay Burley's my favourite stupid person ever. Because she's so stupid, she'll ask really simple questions that you should absolutely know. Right? Just basic bullshit that throws politicians off their game. Whether that's an intentional tactic on her part, I suggest probably not. But she'll just be like, they'll be talking about economics and they'll just go, what is money? Or something, just something so basic. And the politicians just like, the fuck does what? And they're so confused, they're put off their guard and made to look stupid by a simple question. And in some respects, Nick Ferrari's just done exactly the same there. It's ironic with a name like Ferrari that he's so fucking slow.
Teacher, and that will be some schools, not all schools.
But it's also to supply 3,000 nurseries and mental health care. I mean, how is the money going to stretch that far?
Well, the money is fully costed in our manifesto. It's all there. But Nick,
it's relatively small, 1.3 billion, relatively small to provide for all of this.
Well, it is a lot of money, actually, £1.3 billion. It's fully costed for both the teachers that we need and the mental health. But look, I'm not going to pretend there's lots of money around. The economy's been badly damaged. Nick, I just want to finish the point on maths.
Here we go. The economy's badly damaged. Liz Truss, mini budget, can't do anything, rah, rah, rah.
Then I will go back to the head.
If in a state secondary school you don't have a maths teacher to teach maths and you don't do well in maths, that is not something for that child who's 13, 14, 15. There's a sort of 1 year budgeting problem. It's something they carry with them for the rest of their lives. Okay. It makes it harder to get into sixth form or college. And for apprentices, sometimes it's very hard to get into apprenticeship without maths. So this is a lifelong challenge for those that don't have it.
Mike in Berkshire, I'm in a marginal Berkshire seat. I've given up on the Tories. I would be minded to give Labour a chance. But I seem to be one of those people the Labour have chosen to despise. I'm a moderately successful, aspirational parent who's elected to choose private education. VAT at 20%.
Oh, boo-hoo! Won't someone think of the very wealthy but not massively wealthy? Oh! Eat my fucking arsehole.
Then feels like a super tax on me. He is not alone.
No, it's not a super tax on you. It's just a tax. It's a luxury purchase that you are making. You pay a fucking tax. It's been a disgrace that it hasn't been applied to you before.
The school that your wife attended says this will cause significant disruption for children forced to leave school But we're even more concerned about the capacity of local schools. The head of the school that you attended, Reigate Grammar, says this will inevitably lead to thousands of children going to already oversubscribed state schools. How come you know better than all these teachers?
Well, Nick, firstly, I've got nothing.
You could just put more money into state schools, build more state schools, put more than a third of a teacher, put half of a teacher into a school. Do you know what I mean? Let's dream slightly bigger. I think 100% of pupils should attend state schools, because I think private schools should be fucking levelled in a entirely legal way. I'm not suggesting terrorism. I'm suggesting they be shut. They be closed. The buildings can stay. The historic buildings, that's fine. We can use them to house the homeless. 2 for 1.
And I do understand that many parents save hard and work hard to send their children to private schools because they have real aspiration for them. But I also understand that all parents have aspiration for their children, including parents who send their children to a state school. And I want to make sure that every single child, wherever they come from, whatever their background, has the opportunity to get on in life and that feels that success belongs to them. It's a tough choice. There isn't a lot of money around, but it's a choice we've made to ensure that we have the teachers we need in our state secondary schools. It's a tough choice.
Final word from the head of a school, which I think is in the town that your school was at. Michelle, your final word to Sir Keir on this, and I must move on. Michelle.
So, Keir, I have written to you twice and you haven't replied. I've also written to Bridget Phillipson, no reply. I really, really question that the Labour Party do not care about these children. I think it's blind ignorance to push through with this plan and avoid speaking to those in the sector, such as myself, who have this expertise. And I honestly believe that your response to this question simply highlights that
they could be converted into public school, into state schools. Seamstress, yes. But I specifically want to house the homeless in it because it would annoy posh cunts a lot. It really would. That's why, like, outside the... Look, I want to build a migration centre in Belgravia. For those who don't know, Belgravia is the area of London near to Buckingham Palace. It's like the richest bit of land on earth. It's ridiculous. Each fucking house is worth 100 squillion gazillion pounds. Build a migration centre there. These fuckers want them, don't they? They want migration centres. You can't be having all of these foreign chaps running around the place. Okay. Sloane Square. Let's go. Nice open bit of fucking space there in Sloane Square. Let's put some barracks up. Get some fucking Albanian lads in. Let's get some Afghans going around Buckingham Palace, shall we? Plenty of spare rooms in Buckingham Palace. Old fucking sausage fingers. He's not taking up that much space. I reckon we get some Syrians. Let's get some fucking Syrians going in the West Wing, shall we? That's why I make the joke about Ray Fiennes. And it was only because Ray Fiennes was on that one programme being a NIMBY cunt, right? He's clearly not the worst of it. And some of his arguments might actually hold some water. But he's doing NIMBYism. And so I do the joke, we need to build infrastructure all outside of his house, right? Just to piss him and NIMBYs off. NIMBYs are the worst. Because, yeah, we do need migration centres. We do need homeless shelters. We do need drug rehabilitation centres. We need railways. We need electricity pylons. We need motorways. We need fucking railways. We need infrastructure. Because the country is crumbling. Big time. And has been for quite some time. So we're going to need to build these things. But what I will not tolerate and accept is them just being built in areas like the one I grew up in. And indeed the one I live in now. Poor areas. That's the thing. If it's only going to be built in poor areas, that's not fucking acceptable to me. It's the poor that get shit on constantly. And then the rich will laugh at the poor for having been shit on by the rich. And they'll sell that shitting on them as a good thing in the papers and on the TV that they already fucking own. And then get poor people to continue voting for the political parties that enabled the shitting in the first place. Oh yes, turn them into asylum centres. Yeah, with 20-mile-an-hour zones around it. And fuck it, make them 15-minute cities as well. Let's fucking go. Shrike, you're absolutely correct. 100%. Get fucking vaccine centres popping up there as well. Chemtrails. Let's go.
That Labour does not care about SEN children when you think that they can just go back into the state sector despite the state sector not being able to meet their needs.
I must allow Sir Keir a final rebuttal.
Well, Michelle, we do care.
We'll pass your address across to Michelle to Sir Keir's people.
We do care, Michelle, and I want every single child, whether they go to private or state school, to have the same opportunities. It really matters to me.
And you know that isn't the case, because you've already accepted the basic fundamental premise that if you're rich enough, you can buy better chances for your child at private school. So just inherently accepting that means that they cannot possibly have a state school system and a private school system that both allow the same opportunities. You know that isn't fucking true, Keith. You must know that's not true. You sit in the House of Commons where about 80% of the cunts went to private school as opposed to like 7% of the actual population. You must know that.
But Michelle, on the first issue you raised, I don't know why you haven't had a reply. Can I apologise to you for that? And Michelle, one thing that will come out of this is you will get a reply very quickly. Apologies, somehow in the system that hasn't.
Yeah, because you've embarrassed me on the fucking radio.
Being picked up, but Michelle, that's not intended to be discourteous. I will now make sure that you get. But firstly, I read your letters and that you get a full reply. So apologies there, Michelle.
Those 103,000 pupils, Sir Keir, who do not get that help. I can hand you the literature here if you like. The special educational needs. 103,000 will not get the help they need. I'm happy for you to take that document.
Nick, where there's a plan in place that's required.
Oh, is James not streaming today? Okay, cool. Yeah, well, Jim Bob refugees get in.
Then they are exempt.
All right. Well, if you read that, let's move on. Thank you, Michelle.
We need to build James from the Internet refugee centres in Sloane Square, Belgravia. Now.
Up with your pupils. Connor's in Manchester. Connor, you're on the radio. Go ahead. Good morning.
Morning, Nick. Morning, Sir Keir. I've just got a question. Morning. I'm a left-leaning voter, but I'm considering other parties because I don't feel that Labour is being...
If you're a lefty voter, you don't need to worry then, because he's not interested in your vote. You're not welcome in his party.
Strong enough on things like Brexit. So my question is if Labour...
Okay, when someone says, I'm a lefty, but I'm worried that you're not strong enough on Brexit, what he means is a liberal who's pretending. How about a 10-lane motorway in Kensington? You know what? You're speaking my language. Now we're talking. Let's get some ideas going in chat. For rich areas, we can build infrastructure. Let's fucking go.
Labour is adamant on keeping Brexit and not rejoining the single market. What do you think the actual benefits of Brexit are, and where do you see our relationship with the EU in the future?
Yeah, Connor, look, firstly, on very respectful of the choice that you'll make on the 4th of July, so not trying to tell you how to vote, but it is going to be a straight choice at this election, either to continue with the Tories in control. We've had 14 years now of chaos and division and failure, in my view. That's one choice. I don't think they're going to change. This campaign has shown that chaos and division are still part and parcel of their package, so that's not going to change. That's what you will wake up to on the 5th of July, unless you take the other route, which is to choose a Labour government which will turn the page and begin to rebuild our country.
What does turn the page and rebuild even look like? You aren't even fucking offering us anything. What do you mean rebuild? In what way? What is your fucking plan to do any of this? Like, it would be one thing if he was offering us change that you didn't believe he was going to give. But he's not even doing that. He's not even giving us the false hope. There's nothing here. He's fucking worthless. And people will be pissed off in a couple of years because nothing will have changed.
They are that's the only outcome, or the only stark choice. So carry on as we are, or turn the corner. On the question of Brexit, Connor, obviously, as you probably know,
turn the corner. So his answer is turn the corner, turn the page, turn me over like a flapjack. I'm done.
Remain and campaign to remain, but we have left the EU and we're not rejoining. And that means that we're not going to rejoin the single market or customs union or reintroduce freedom of movement.
So what would you look to? We would look to improve our trading relationships, as your colleague Rachel Reeves. What does that mean?
What that means, Connor and Nick, is this, that I think the deal we've got is a botched deal. Talk to any business. I was at Southampton Port yesterday, talked to anyone who works at the border, and they will say that they've now got all sorts of checks and balances that aren't necessary, that they think can be improved.
Oh, yes, a massive Palestinian embassy in Mayfair. Oh, yes. Oh, now we're talking. Someone take note. Someone take note, right? And it doesn't have to be just a British thing. You can do this in fucking in America or wherever the fuck you are in the world, okay? Maybe you could have one of these migrant processing centres in the Hamptons. Or in Beverly Hills, or something of the sort. I don't know any posh bits. What's the posh bits of Paris? You get the idea. Let the peanuts percolate.
I'm in the business.
Someone make a note of all of these things, because when I become king of the world, and notice I said the word when, not if, we're doing all of them. You have the opportunity in your hands tonight, people, to do amusing and spiteful bits of infrastructure spending in your country in the next few years, because I'm going to make it happen.
This is making it easier for people to trade and to succeed.
Ellis Island on Martha's Vineyard. And that is how you pronounce it. Martha's Vineyard. That's how the people of Massachusetts say that. Because they're wrong. Anyway, also Martha's Vineyard, one of only 2 places in America that has that punctuation mark in its name. Sewage work at a home of every MP that punches down on the poor. I'm here for it. Let's go. Shit taps for MPs. Let's have it.
Change.
So we would seek a better agreement. Obviously, this would have to be negotiated.
Better in what areas?
In trade, so that it's easier for businesses. I want it to be...
That's the beautiful thing about King. You don't have to run for office. You just become king. It happened for Charles. Why couldn't it happen for me? My fingers are normal. Checkmate.
Better in things like research and development, and I want it to be better on security, because I think post the
Highgate
Ukraine
HS2,
or during the Ukraine conflict, it's become clear that we can do more work with our EU partners when it comes to defence and security. I would also add to that list, Nick, the taking down of the vile gangs that are running the trade, the vile trade of putting people in boats to go across the small boats to go across the channel. At the moment, if we don't have the wherewithal, if we're on a joint investigation, joint project with them, for the UK to lead on it, and I think that we can do better than that. So those are the areas, Conor, where I genuinely think we can make some real progress.
Department of Trans Healthcare in Islington. Well, to be fair, Islington is where Corbyn sits, so I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's an issue. What we want to do, what's the seat that old fucking turfy face, what's her name? Where does she stand? Because we need to get the new trans healthcare built there, I reckon. Right in her fucking seat. He's noticeably aged since he became a leader of the party. If we can crank it up to the Nazi drinking out of the wrong grail in last Crusade, I'd be happy. That is a very weird reference point, but thank you, Inky Black. Much love. That is a very interesting first time chat.
But I say at the end, when it comes to the ballot, it is a straight choice.
Rosie Duffield's seat. What's that? Rosie Duffield. What's her fucking seat? Canterbury in Kent, right? We need to build the massive trans healthcare facility right there. Fuck her off. Or outside. Oh, Rowling's fucking castle, yes. Well, they'll need one in Scotland as well. Let's build one there. The more the merrier.
Choice, Conor.
Okay, Conor, thank you. Matthew's in Kiel. Matthew, you're through to Sir Keir. Go ahead. Morning to you.
Morning.
Morning, Matthew.
Morning. I'm 23 and I graduate from medical school in July. I start working as a junior doctor in August. I'll be entering into a junior doctor workforce that feels devalued, dejected and disrespected. I think everyone wants to leave the NHS and go to Australia and New Zealand. It's all well and good saying you're going to train more doctors, will have your extra 40k appointments per week, but doctors are leaving in their droves. So Keir, I want to know, how will you address the workforce retention crisis? And B, how are you going to settle the junior doctor dispute?
Yeah, on the retention crisis, we need to have better respect for our doctors and everybody in the NHS.
You're going to pay them at all, you cunt?
Matthew, and on the...
What does that mean, better respect?
Simply this, Nick.
I respect my doctor and my consultants already.
Yeah, but let me give the best example.
Yeah. Nick. I feel like we need to give Nick some crayons and some paper and just tell him to go and draw some stuff in the corner and let the fully grown humans talk. No one is suggesting that you personally, Nicholas Ferrari, do not respect your GP, you daft cunt. They are suggesting that the government has not shown respect. And as you are not, and have never been, and are never going to be, a member of the government, this does not, it's got nothing to do with you, is it? You absolute plum. You fucking idiot. For France, they need to put a migration centre on the Avenue des Champs-Élysées. True. Anyway, back to these two fucking penguins.
Example I can, which is a Prime Minister who stands up 18 months ago and says, I'm going to reduce the waiting lists. And he says, I'm going to be personally held to account for that. It's my promise to you, hold me to account. Right. The waiting list was 7.2 million. They're now 7.5 million. When he's now asked, well, you said you get the list down, he says it's all the fault of the NHS staff. That is highly disrespectful. And I think he found that when he did the debate last week and was confronted by a junior doctor. So, Matthew, we will not operate in that way.
Yeah, to be fair, the junior doctor didn't like you either, dickhead. We watched it live. He was not a fan of you. I mean, he fucking hated Sneako, to be fair, but he was not massively pleased with yourself.
On the junior doctor dispute, Matthew, you raised that and let me deal with it, because it is shocking that it's dragged on so long. We've had months and months and months now where both the doctors and the government have said, well, we want a deal, but we're not going into the room first to negotiate a deal. We would take a different approach. We would We
would clap. We would clap. You know what? We'd clap every single night for them. That's how much we respect. We're not going to pay them anything, or reduce their hours, or give them better working conditions, or rebuild any of the infrastructure of the healthcare service or anything like that. No. But we will clap for them.
And Wes Streeting, the shadow health secretary,
can't.
Has made this very clear. We would say to the doctors, don't strike during the election campaign, because we're very.
Oh, because you might ruin my election. Oh. Keith, I hope they do. I hope they give you a fucking aneurysm, you prick.
Very close now to the opportunity for a different approach with the Labour government if we get over the line. So don't strike, because that causes all sorts of issues, inevitably, for patients.
You don't give a fuck that it's going to annoy patients. You give a fuck that it's going to annoy you. That you will have to answer questions about your quote-unquote union bosses, who you've given nothing to in your manifesto, and couldn't have been any more disrespectful to. But yeah, you're annoyed that it will potentially hurt you. It's got nothing to do with patients. Stop lying.
So we are asking the doctors to call that action off. So what Wes Streeting has said is he will negotiate. He will pick up the phone and start the discussion. Now, I know the junior doctor's starting position, as it were, is 35%. We've made it clear we cannot afford that, but we will get in the room. We will negotiate. A lot of this, Matthew, is about terms and conditions as well, about the way in which we retain the.
Yeah, but it's about pay as well, mate.
Matthew and others going to Australia or Canada or elsewhere that he referenced?
Well, I think we need to settle a dispute. We need to get our waiting list down, which Matthew referenced, the 40,000 appointments each and every week, additional. Matthew, they will be.
But that's about a 1.5% lift of appointments, isn't it? Initially. Again, that was pointed out to you on Friday.
40,000 a week is 2 million a year.
Yes.
We've got just under about 8 million on the waiting list. We will clear that waiting list in the 5 years of a Labour government if we get over the line. And Nick, we did it.
The annual total, though, it's only a small percentage. I appreciate that it will attack the waiting list, but the overall total, is it ambitious enough?
No, nothing about his fucking plan is ambitious enough. Nothing. It's not even ambitious. It's nothing. Did you already hear about? Yeah. We did talk about Chomsky. Yeah. As we don't have any details or anything, we'll And also, I don't know what do you say? Like, yeah, it sucks that he died, but he was 95. It was going to happen soon. It would have been nice if he could have outlived. Or, well, technically he did outlive him. If he could have lived longer than oh, fucking hell, why's my mind gone blank? Oh, I've forgotten his fucking name. Kissinger, Henry Kissinger. Oh, I was thinking Kleinfelder, and I knew it wasn't. I knew that was the wrong name entirely. It would have been nice if he'd been older than Henry Kissinger, but alas not. Alas, 'twas not to be the case. Yeah, of all war criminals. Well, to be fair, I think humanity will do well when we do forget about the likes of Kissinger.
Yeah, if we can get that waiting list down, it is. When we were last in government, we brought waiting list down to the lowest level, and satisfaction in the NHS was at its highest. It is the complete reverse now, the highest ever waiting.
Yeah, but that's because Look, I am loath to give noted war criminal Tony Blair and his accomplice Gordon Brown any big ups. I'm not a massive fan of them at all. But they did put money into the NHS. They unfortunately propped up some of it with PFIs, which are now financially hurting the NHS. So essentially kicked the can down the road and let future taxpayers worry about that bullshit. But either way, they did put money in. You are not promising to put virtually any money in. You can't say, look at what this past Labour government that had a totally different outlook on this did and achieved. And me, with my totally insufficient version of that, it's totally going to have the same effect. Trust me, brah. Shut the fuck up.
List and the lowest level satisfaction. And Matthew, this matters for all the... I mean, my wife obviously works in the NHS, so I do got a pretty good line of sight in one of the big London hospitals.
There we go.
The waiting lists are...
Wife in the NHS. Do you reckon we're going to get a dad toolmaker? I think he's become very self-conscious of the dad toolmaker line. I think people have finally... His comms team have finally worked out, oh, you can't just keep saying that because people are going to take the piss out of you, you fucking idiot. But he's still going to mention wife NHS. We might get a mum NHS as well. I think that one's still on the table. But I think he's going to have to put the old faithful of dad toolmaker back in the box. Do you know what I mean? Just for a little bit. Zomsky. Oh, too soon, Daddy Uncle Darren. Too soon. But also, to be fair, he has been looking like a zombie for quite a while anyway. Are there any MPs within the Labour Party who can push Starmer to fund the NHS more? Not really, because it isn't the Labour Party aren't really running his leadership. It's Labour Together, and that's just Pat McFadden basically.
Bearing down on the staff because all the time they've got this backlog, it is really making a difficult job even more difficult.
Let's get a quick one-line response from you, Matthew, if you would, sir.
I mean, I just cannot emphasise how dire the situation is. The morale at the moment in the workforce. Medical students, 1 in 3 from a recent BMA survey said they intend to leave the NHS after 2 years of initial foundation training, post-graduation, and they haven't started work yet.
Okay. I'm grateful to you, Matthew. Thank you.
And trust me, everybody, now that we're about to go into the adults in the room parliament in the not too distant future, I am going to watch Prime Minister's Question Time every fucking week with you. Or most weeks. I'll probably forget once or twice. Or like yesterday when I had to go to drive my niece and her father to the hospital because she dislocated her shoulder. She is a very breakable child. Anyway, it was an accident, by the way. When I say breakable, I don't mean we did that on purpose. She dislocated her shoulder. But yes, we're gonna watch, and she's fine, by the way. We're gonna watch Prime Minister's Question Time, and I'm gonna hold this cunt's feet to the fire. Because it's going to be just lies and lies and lies and lies. Bullshit. And I'm going to call it out every fucking week. Yeah, no, she's fine. She's just fragile, I think. I think she's used to it now. It's happened 3 or 4 times. She's got very poppy arm bits. Her arm flanges are... flibbity bibble. Will Supertan types hold him to the fire? No, they will not, and I will hold them to the fucking fire as well. Because Supertansky and her ilk have been promising us that this is going to be a genuinely progressive Labour Party. I feel I might fall out with people like her, and possibly Bowler Hat Man and various other people who I don't really want to fall out with because I don't think they're bad people. I think their heart's in the right place. But if you're going to If you're going to continue to support this cunt as he takes us further down the road to perdition, then I'm going to call that shit. And if that offends you, stop being an arsehole. Yeah, it's not an issue. It's not an issue. It's fine. It's fine.
For the work you do, I hope we can encourage you to stay in this country
Marxist
because we need as many good folk
capitalism.
like you. Thank you for the work you're putting in. Let's move to the next call. Sid's in Caister in Lincolnshire. Sid, you're through to Sir Keir Starmer. Go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Good
morning, Sid. Morning.
Morning. My question is, you said you're not going to raise income tax, VAT or national insurance, but what about council tax and pensions? Like at the minute you get 25% tax-free on your private pension. Will you be reducing that figure so you'll end up paying more tax when you draw your pension?
Yeah, Sid, on the question of tax, we've been really clear we're not going to be raising tax on working people. So as you rightly say, that means no increase in income tax, in national insurance, and in VAT.
Council
and
tax?
then, on top of that, Sid, the approach we've taken is this. We've published our manifesto with
Oh, he doesn't want to say council tax.
our plans in it, Sid. Every single thing in that document is fully costed and fully funded. So we've worked out how much it will cost, and we've worked out or explained where the money will come from. There are some tax rises, Sid, so we want to get rid of the non-dom status properly. But super rich don't pay their tax in this country. We want to get rid of the private equity loophole, which again is used by those that are pretty wealthy to avoid paying the income side of tax. And we want a better windfall tax on oil and gas companies. But
Keir Starmer won't get replaced, no. No, that won't happen.
Beyond that, Sid, none of our plans.
He's about to win a fucking 250-seat majority. People like that don't get replaced as Prime Minister.
Require a tax rise because our focus is on growth. So, Sid, none of our plans require tax rises over and above the ones we've set out.
So you can say now there will not be an increase in council tax.
Look, Nick, what I'm not going to do is sit here 2 and a bit weeks before the election and write the budgets for the next 5 years. What I can say,
so there's going to be massive increases in council tax. Brilliant.
What I can say is that none of our plans require a tax rise, and that is for a reason. And the reason is our focus is on getting our economy going.
Okay. So all right. We know now that it's definitely going to happen. So what's the excuse going to be? When inevitably there's going to be some massive tax rise, which I mean, like the fact that he's putting himself out there like that. There obviously is going to be. What's the excuse going to be? Because you can't just keep saying Liz Truss mini budget forever. You do actually have to put out a reason for doing things, and that's the thing they don't seem to realise. When you get in government, you have to actually do shit. You can't just pretend and bullshit anymore. You can't just say turn the page, because the civil servants will go, what the fuck does turn the page mean? I've got 4 or 5 different options for public policy choices here that you as the minister have to decide on. What do you mean? Start afresh, rebuild. You have to actually choose a fucking policy. Keith is so boring. Keith is really boring. Absolutely. I'll be honest with you, this has been one of the most boring election campaigns ever. It's been fucking tedious. All the more so, of course, because we already know the result. We already know exactly what the result of the election is going to be. It's just, will it be 150, 200, 250, 600 squillion majority? Who knows? Who knows what that's going to be, right? But in terms of the result, we already know before we've started. Before a ball has been kicked, we already know who wins the game. And so it's like, They don't have to do anything, which is why they've done nothing. Literally, their manifesto should honestly be, they should be sued under the Trades Descriptions Act, because their manifesto is nothing of the sort. It doesn't plan to do anything. It doesn't promise to do anything. It's just a waste of it's a waste of paper. Not that they printed many of them, it's mostly online nowadays, but it's a waste of time to have even read it. I feel like he owes me that amount of time in my life back, because there's nothing of any substance in there whatsoever. Because he doesn't want to offend anyone, except obviously people on the left. People on the left can go fuck themselves, but he doesn't want to offend any other voter whatsoever. You know? No policy is a factor policy. Sorry, but true. To be fair, he has got one policy, which is to have no policies. Correct.
Building on growing, on raising living standards and creating wealth.
You're declining to take...
And to be fair, having no policies is the only policy he hasn't gone back on. So in some respects, we should be grateful. He's kept one of his promises.
Just say the tax rise will not, council tax will not increase. So I can put it to you that it will increase. And
Well,
you can say I don't know.
Nick, look, it would be foolish to write 5 years worth of budgets before going through.
So that's yes then. Stop bullshitting. That's yes.
To 2029.
But you do realise, respectfully, every time you say we're not going to raise VAT, we're not going to raise it, and everybody says, what about council tax? You say, well, I honestly can't. You know what people are thinking. You're a bright bloke. Council tax will go up.
Yeah, well, let me.
Clearly.
No, Nick, that
It
isn't,
won't
that
go
isn't
up.
our plan. No, Nick, none of our plans require
Will
a
it go
tax
up or when
rise.
to go up, Keir?
None of our plans require a tax rise. No, Nick, because I do need to explain this.
I think you've had your time, respectfully. On the pitch.
True. You have had your time. I've given you plenty of opportunity. and you've stonewalled it, so fuck you. I feel so apathetic to vote. Don't feel apathetic, modernism. That's what cunts like Keir Starmer want. They want leftists to not vote. Go and vote for your Green candidate, or if you're in a particular area, if you're in an SNP area and they've got a chance of winning, vote for them. If you've got a local independent that's worth something, go and do that. Or just go and spoil your fucking ballot. Right, they're all cunts on it or something.
I know.
I don't know. But don't give it up. It's one of the few direct bits of fucking power that you have. Go and do something with it. It's not going to... Look, we can't... I don't think we can achieve socialism through the ballot box. But, or certainly not the ballot box as it's currently fucking, you know, organised. But that doesn't mean we can't do anything. Are the British Communist Party running? I think they are in some seats, but the British Communist Party are fucking dreadful. Especially if we're talking about the ML... Was it the CPG-BML? Who are just the worst kind of cunts. Transphobic filth. They talk about trans people being bourgeois and stuff. Like, it's fucking wild. They are brainworms as a political party. What was I going to say? I was going to say something and I've totally forgotten.
I know that the temptation is always to say to politicians,
are they tankies? Yes, of course they are. Yeah.
You're going to raise tax, or you're going to reduce spending. They aren't the only levers available in government. We have the growth. A working person.
Simon Cowell?
Well, a working person is someone who works their living and uses our public.
A working person is a person who works for a living. The next Prime Minister of the country, everybody.
Services. The person I have in mind, the person I have in my mind, Nick, when I say working people, is people who earn a living, rely on our services, and don't really have the ability to write a cheque when they get into trouble. So the sort of people I'm meeting pretty well every day now. I met a couple in Stafford, a paramedic and her wife who works in a jewellery shop. Right. Their mortgage has just gone up several £100s, and they don't have a sort of money in the bank to pay for it. They're the people I have.
Someone who works, who cannot write a cheque when they get into trouble,
and therefore relies on our public.
Also, how much of a boomer prick are you that your go-to example of like a rich person thing is writing a cheque? Who the fuck writes a cheque anymore? Honestly, in chat, when was the last time you wrote a cheque for a thing? 2003. Like... Honestly, considering he's gone full turf in this, Elliot, you might not be that far off. A working person is an adult human worker. Fact.
Services like the NHS, etc. It's quite a big group because these days there are many people, obviously not so well off, even better off these days, particularly when it comes to mortgages. But I mean, because it is important in politics. Who do you have in your mind's eye? And I have all those people who, for the cost of living crisis, in Southampton yesterday, I had a woman who she's got one job, she's trying to get another job, and the bills are still bearing down on her.
You wrote a cheque 3 hours ago. Oh no. Can we get some sympathy for Wayward Historian in chat, who is boomer as fuck? Oh, my heart goes out to you. It's very sad.
That's the sort of person that I have in my
therefore relies on
in my mind's eye.
When Sid asks about pensions, in your 132-page manifesto, you talk of a review of the pension landscape. What does that mean?
Well, it means that we'll look.
Nothing.
I mean, obviously,
it means literally nothing.
I know you'll look at it, but I mean in more detail. Are we going to be looking at pension funds, asset managers, insurers, banks?
No, we're going to look across the board at pensions to make sure that they.
So we're looking at taxation of pension funds?
No, Nick, we're not. None of our plans require taxation.
Oh, Keir have just gone a goal up against Portugal.
I understand this is a different approach and that Labour leaders in the past might have come on saying, yes, tax, tax, tax. We're not going to do that.
We're not going to do anything. I know Labour leaders in the past may have actually given a fuck, but I don't.
We're going for growth, growth, growth. The missing ingredient.
Get the buttons out, everybody. Get the buttons out. We're just going to slam the grow the economy button. Fuck yes. fuck yes. Thank you, Arizal, David North London with 500 bits, who says, I was going to write... Oh, hang on. Bollocks. What it... Don't go onto the other screen, you fucking arse. There you go. I was going to write a cheque to you, but you started taking the piss. Take my bits instead. Well, good, because you know what? I wouldn't have wiped my arse with a cheque. What am I going to do? Go into a bank that doesn't fucking exist anymore? We used to, honestly, when I first moved here, like... When did I move into this house? About 8 years ago, 9 years ago? Is it? No, it might be more than that. Oh shit, it might be more. It's about 10, 11 years now. Oh fuck. Oh, time goes mental. Eesh. Anyway, there were like 3 bank branches within like walking distance of my house. There are now none. The nearest bank is all the way up in the fucking... well, I'm not going to dox myself. But it's about 4 miles away, 5 miles away now. Can we subscribe with crypto? No. No, you can't. You can subscribe with real money. Or bits which are like real money. Which I suppose is sort of what crypto is. No. Crypto's shit and I will not engage in it. I'd rather fucking starve. What do you need to go to the bank for? Got loads of money, do you? No, but occasionally I do need to go in there and, like, sort out my personal finances. On occasion. Because I'm very rich. Rory coin for the win. True. Although, to be fair, I imagine much like Rory Cats, that Rory coin is not getting up anytime soon. It's not going to the moon. Rory coin, is it? I'm sad now. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. You have a bank account, fake socialist. True. You can give me money to put in my bank account, though, if you wanted to. You can, in the form of bits and subs. You can do it. I believe in you. Also, I'm sad because cat. Can I dine out knob cheese? Yeah, go for it.
In here is that our economy has been flatlining for 14 years, and we need to turn that around to get the growth we need. That's why we want to build 1.5 million houses.
He will live forever.
GB Energy up and running, so energy costs come down. We want to make sure that we fix the waiting lists so that people can be back into work. We want a back-to-work plan for welfare. All of these are intended to ensure that our economy grows. Because if we had grown the economy in the last 14 years at the same rate as the last Labour government, we would have tens of billions of pounds for our public services without raising taxes.
But how can you possibly say you are going to have that kind of growth? What about... For a start, we were in the EU at that point. We had access to the fucking single market and blah, 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 blah. You can't possibly say you're going to have that growth. You can't just say, we'll press the grow economy button. Because it's not fucking real. It's a joke. Your economic policy is farcical.
Taxes. That's the road I want to go down.
Let's go to Emma in Greenwich. Thanks, Sid, for your call. Emma's in Greenwich.
Also, you dickhead, it's not a dichotomy of increase any taxes whatsoever and grow the economy. That's not how it fucking works, is it?
Okay, go ahead, Emma. Morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
Hi,
yeah,
Emma.
thanks for having me on. Hi, Keir. I wanted to know, how are you going to protect single-sex basics for women and girls while...
Hey, turf bitch! Woo! Now, I assume, given that this is a hateful, bigoted turf piece of garbage that's about to speak, that the leader of the Social Democratic Party here, the leader of the Democratic Socialisms, Sir Keir Starmer, KC, is about to definitely say, I disagree with you entirely. I think you're wrong. Surely that's what he's going to do. Because, you know... we should definitely vote for the Labour Party because of damage limitations, right? Harm reductionio.
At the same time, making it easier for people to get a gender recognition certificate.
Oh, Emma, I've passionately think we should protect single spaces for women and girls. That's something I've been clear about for a very long time, Emma. I was chief prosecutor between 2008 and 2000.
Were you? Were you really? Isn't it funny how you think you know a person and then you learn a brand new thing about them that has never been mentioned by them ever, never before, never ever before. He was chief prosecutor and the Crown Prosecution, sir. Was he really?
2013, running the prosecutions in England and Wales, we had a lot of cases involving, for example, violence against women and girls, and I know firsthand from my experience then just how important.
Your record on rape and sexual violence, cases brought to court and successful convictions is fucking embarrassing. It is shameful. Don't you fucking dare, just because you can point to one or two successes, and I mean literally one or two fucking successes, pretend that you, in your role as leader of the Crown Prosecution Service, was in any way something to brag about. You let women and girls down, and you let men down too, to be honest, and non-binary people. Not that I'm supposed you would give a fuck about that. But you let women and girls down tremendously. You fucking gobshite. Don't you fucking sit there and pretend you've done everything in your power to protect people. Fuck off.
Safe spaces are. And so that is very important to us. In relation to the proposal we've got in our manifesto in relation to gender, that is the process that we will put in place. But it doesn't cut across safe spaces. They're very, very important and we will protect them.
Quick response from you, Emma, before we move on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
We're going to protect them. We're going to protect the single-sex spaces. Don't want to offend any turfoids.
How the two can marry up, because single-sex spaces are a threat now, and we've got boys and men at grassroots sports, and women's sports at grassroots level.
No, turfoid cunt. What you have is trans people engaged in those sporting events. That's what you have. What you are is a bigot. The people who are a threat, both to single-sex spaces and to women more broadly, is not trans people. It's cis men. Ironically, Keir Starmer and Nick Ferrari and people from their demographic are far more of a danger to you than any trans person is. And yet, where is your gun pointed? Metaphorical gun, of course. You go fuck yourself.
We've got single-sex spaces being turned into mixed-sex spaces. That's happening right now, and you're going to make it.
Where's that happening? Where is that happening? What are you talking about?
Easier for people to change. Well, you can't change sex. Human beings can't change sex. So a gender recognition certificate it doesn't change reality. So
gender and sex aren't the same thing. I apologise that you're so poorly educated about this. Maybe don't ring up a national radio show and make a prick of yourself.
It's not. The two policies don't match.
Let's put that to Sakir. The two policies don't add up, Sakir.
Well, they do, because I think you can always say safe spaces for, and should say safe spaces for women and girls, whether that's in sports, the sports bodies, whether that's...
You going to stand up for trans people at all here, Keith? Keith, are you going to say anything in defence of trans people? At all?
In the work I did, particularly in the support refugees and other places for those that have been subjected to violence, physical or sexual, it's very, very important that we preserve that. Or indeed in our hospitals, it's actually NHS policy for wards to be single sex, and the only reason that isn't...
Actually, that's not true either. There are obviously instances where it's single sex, but that clearly isn't the case in all instances. There are mixed sex wards in various hospitals, especially given the fact that we don't have enough space at all. Especially given that you don't even get a choice of being on a fucking ward anymore. Sometimes you're just shoved into a cupboard. That's literally true. They have former stationary cupboards that are now just being converted into rooms because there aren't enough fucking rooms. What next? Underground passageways. They're just going to dig a hole and put you in there and wait for you to fucking die. Full of shit.
Routinely the case now is because the government's lost control of our hospitals, but that is the policy, and
That's one way, Keith, of getting people on board with reforming the healthcare, is to say to turfoids, we need to get a grip on the NHS again and make it work so that you can be bigoted towards trans people and just stuff them into a fucking a waste paper bin as a room. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And again, at no point is he ever going to say a word about how trans people are actually perfectly valid. No. Wouldn't want to upset a fucking turf, would you? You cunt.
Want to reinforce and to protect that, Emma.
So if I was identifying as a woman and I went to my NHS hospital, would I be allowed to be on a woman's ward if I identified as a woman?
No. It's a single-sex ward.
No, what do you mean it's a single-sex ward? This is hypothetical. Are you suggesting there are no mixed-sex wards whatsoever, Sir Keith? Are you literally suggesting that under no circumstances has anyone ever been in a mixed-sex ward? Because that's actually not at all the practice. You're a fucking liar. You're a liar. You want the turf vote? Go for it. You are never getting my vote. And if you're a leftist out there, please tell me on what fucking basis you would ever vote to make this cunt Prime Minister. Fucking defend that shit to me.
My gender recognition certificate, I'd be allowed on a woman's ward.
You would be accommodated, but not on a woman's ward. And
Where
that's
would I
why.
go?
Well,
Maria, very few are segregated by sex. There are some that are, yes. There are some that are. But very few. So he's literally just making shit up and saying that in all of this, that they're all that way, and therefore he would that in this instance, because he's identifying as a woman in this instance, Nick Ferrari, that he would never be allowed on there, which is not true. It's just not fucking true. Yeah, they're not by default, not at all, no. I think, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think I can safely say the vast majority are not in any way strictly sex delineated, no. I think there are certain situations where they do it for things that are traditionally thought of as like female problems or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty rare, I think, actually. So it's just not NHS practice to do this, and yet he's saying it as if it's true. Oh yeah, he is. You know what, Scousroy? He's going to suddenly turn into he's going to lead the international revolution. Sir Keith. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I completely agree. I realise you're joking. I fucking hope you are. Jesus. Yeah, he's just agreeing with a bigot. He's just agreeing with a bigot, which means you don't get my fucking vote. You absolute scumbag. You fucking piece of shit.
Well, hospitals already do this. There are ways that this can be done.
What sort of ways?
Well, lots of wards
No, there aren't.
have side rooms, that sort of thing.
Side rooms? I get a side room if I had a gender recognition certificate, do I?
Nick, I mean, I've obviously spent quite a lot of time in hospitals, many wards.
Side rooms. Fucking side rooms. Yeah, we're going to start opening up freak wards where we put all of the embarrassing people. You're actually scum, Keith. You are actually an awful human being. Not only do I not wish you to become Prime Minister, I'm not sure I wish you to have access to oxygen in Minecraft. You're a fucking piece of shit. Side rooms. Where we will have windows where people can come and point and laugh at the freaks. You're actually fucking evil. And the thing is, I don't think he is, in his heart of hearts, actually against trans people. We've literally heard him say, when he thought it was more convenient, that it's perfectly plausible for a trans woman to have a penis. Do you remember the turfoids going fucking crazy about that? Mumsnet was all over that shit. Fucking Prosecco Stormfront was losing their fucking mind over it. Getting their fallopians in quite the tizzy over that one back in the day. So, but again, just like literally everything, he's happy to go back on it. He's absolutely happy to sell anyone down the river, including the concept of biology. Gone. It's inconvenient. I can win more fucking turf votes, so fuck it. He's fucking trash. He's such fucking trash.
Have the traditional beds laid out in that way. That is single sex. Many wards these days do have side rooms for general use, and they can be accommodated. But the rule about...
Okay, what about the places that don't have any fucking rooms at all? Where are the trans people going to go there? What about if there isn't... What about if there isn't a side room? Let's say, okay, he's put this thing in place. What about if there isn't a side room, Keith? Because lots of hospitals don't have any rooms to go anywhere. There's one space left on the ward. A trans person needs to use that space, but they don't have a side room for them to go to. What happens then? Do you just let them fucking die? Do they have to sleep outside? On the floor? In the toilet? Presumably not the toilet that they've of their actual gender, though. No. There'd have to be a trans toilet, because obviously single-sex spaces and all of that, eh, Keith? How many fucking toilets are we going to need, Keith? What do you do then? Do you just let them fucking die? Or would you let them have the fucking bed? You're a prick. You're a fucking prick.
About single-sex wards is, or the policy is...
This is the thing that's... I really want to celebrate the Tories losing. And I will, don't get me wrong, election night's going to be fun. Watching Tories crying in fucking sports centres in Huddersfield is going to be funny. That's going to be hilarious. There was a poll out that suggested that Rees-Mogg might lose his seat. Oh my god, I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. But then this cunt's getting in. So what fucking difference does it actually make? Like, yeah, seeing posh boys crying is good. And I will enjoy that for 5 minutes. And then we've got to look forward to this fucking bigoted wanker. Oh. Fucking hell. Tory cringe compilation, very possibly. Or I don't even think it'll be a cringe compilation. It'll just be like a Tories being sad compilation. Just a compilation of like Jacob Rees-Mogg just going, oh well, I suppose I better go back to Nanny, suckle upon her teat for comfort. Toodles! Do you know what I mean? Like, that, it's going to have to be that, isn't it? Because they're not really bombastic enough for them to do that. But this is the thing, in Britain, when you lose, you don't even get angry so much, you just sort of get sad. Yeah, no, unironically, Miss Hire, and this is the genuinely tragic thing for Americans, I hope you genuinely take this as Britain being shit rather than America being good. Joe Biden is unironically to the left of where Keir Starmer is pretending to be. Because again, Keir Starmer does not believe anything. Keir Starmer is a piece of shit. He doesn't believe anything. He's just essentially a glove puppet that's being played by Labour Together. Pat McFadden has his fist so far up him he can tickle his tonsils, right? He's just playing him like a fucking Punch and Judy set. But where Keir Starmer has pitched himself during this general election, and indeed the many months leading up to it, Joe Biden, Joseph Robinette Hussein Biden, is to the left of Keir Starmer. The President of the United States is unironically to the left of the supposed leader of the leader of the supposedly Democratic Socialist Party. And that makes me want to play Roblox a lot by myself. Absolutely fucking awful.
Already there. The only reason, Emma, that there's any issue these days is because the government's lost control of our hospitals.
All right. Let's go to... Thank you, Emma. Let's go to some of the emails, texts and tweets. Penny...
You know what? I think after that, we're done with Keith. We're done with Keith. We're done with this bigoted wanker. So let's go on to more bigoted wankery. Not specifically from Krishnan Guru Murthy, the man you see on screen there. Oh, no. They did a Channel 4 election debate on... And this... Anyone who knows Britain will give you an indication here. Anyone who knows Britain will know that the topic, or topics I should say, of this are going to lead to the most cancerous conversation you can imagine. Because it's immigration, law and order. Oh my god, fucking end me. Let's take a look. Why are you being a prick?
Tonight, in a Channel 4 News special, the 7 main parties go head-to-head on 2 of the biggest issues this election, immigration and law and order.
This is me every time Keir Starmer's on the fucking screen.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
That needs to be a sound alert. We need to make that a sound alert.
Good evening from Colchester, the original capital of Roman Britain. A city...
True. Calamadulum.
Established by some of the first people to come here in small boats across the channel.
That's a belter or an opener. The Romans did come here in small boats across the channel. Julius Caesar, the original illegal immigrant.
Location there.
To be fair, there were not safe and legal routes for the man, but even so.
And to debate immigration. We're at the First Sight Arts Centre.
Honestly, that's such a good line. Well done. I mean, honestly, I think the Reform UK people might actually try and assassinate him for that line, but still.
Of Colchester Castle, used for centuries as a jail. It was famously grim, damp, run down and overcrowded. Sound familiar? On this...
What the fuck? Now Britain as a whole is just catching strays. He's swinging wild. Krishnan's all over the place. Krishnan Guru Murthy is just executing motherfuckers left and right. It's like Kill Bill. He's just got his katanas out slicing bitches. Fuck yes. Do I think he'll get Joe Cox? Oh no, I was only joking, Phantom. I don't think they actually will try and assassinate him. I just think they'll be upset that he got a really good line in that made people think, oh yeah, migrants have been coming here since forever. The fact that we all have, like, European names and shit. The fact that we're called Anglo-Saxons when none of those people are fucking from here. You know, does that ever enter your fucking heads?
Special extended programme will also discuss law and order. We'll hear from an audience drawn from across the political spectrum and from the 7 main parties. For the Conservatives, we have Home Office Minister Chris Philp. Hang on. Chris Philp?
Main
parties. For the Conservatives, we have Home Office...
So, the immigration conversation, you may remember when No Justice MTG was here a few weeks ago, this was the guy who had to literally ask the question, on question time, of somebody in the audience, whether Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo were 2 different countries. But you know, I'm sure he's going to have a lot of well thought out and well researched opinions about immigration, isn't he? Yeah, no, good. Also, let's be entirely honest here. He looks like he's a Nazi. And I don't say that because his politics are bad, although they are atrocious. I say that because he looks like a Nazi, doesn't he? Like, honestly, he looks like someone in the background. Look, he's not playing the main Nazi. He's playing like one of the lieutenants that's in the background. An extra Nazi, if you will. Or a Nazi extra. Like, he's one of those Nazis that gets, like, one line in the film. And it's like, Schnell! Or something like that, right? Untersturmbannführer Schmaltz. That's his name, right? He puts that down. He was acting in the same film as Bruce Willis. So he puts it down on his fucking curriculum vitae. Yeah, a Downfall. Exactly. He's one of the background characters in Downfall. Or some shit, you know.
Office Minister Chris Philp. Nick Thomas Simmons is Labour's Shadow Cabinet Office Minister.
Also a Pratt.
Daisy Cooper is the Liberal Democrat.
Liberal Democrats, what's the point?
Deputy Leader. Richard Tice is Chairman of...
It's Cockboy. They did... Farage couldn't even be bothered. Farage couldn't even be bothered to turn up for Channel 4. He sent his little cock bitch. The man who was leader of the party. And then fucking Nigel Farage went, "Nah, I'm leader now, dickhead." And now he's the cock chair. Literally, he's the cock chairman of the party. Unbelievable. Can't wait for him to spout shite.
Of Reform UK. Carla Denyer is co-leader...
She's getting some fucking airplay, man. Love it.
...of the Green Party. Keith Brown is the SNP Deputy Party Leader. Okay. And representing Plaid Cymru...
Hey! It's Mr. Scrabble, pretend name. I apologise to all of my Welsh friends. Especially the ones with weird names.
...is its leader, Rhyn ap Iorwerth. Now, the questions tonight come mainly from the audience, but we also have an exclusive poll from Savanta to inform the debate. For our first part, we're going to focus on law and order.
Rhyn ap Iorwerth, having mentioned that your man looks like an actor playing a Nazi, Rhyn ap Iorwerth he looks like a guy who earned 3 caps for Wales back in like the early 80s. Do you know what I mean? Like he genuinely looks like he was a good player. He was a decent forward back in the day. He earned 3 caps for Wales but then did his knee in and never quite got back onto the international stage. He was being talked about possibly to go on a Lions tour, but it never happened for him, you know. Like that guy. Kev has Welsh friends. I do have Welsh friends. I have friends in the town of Llanelli, which is why I'm a Scarlets fan in rugby union. I've been there many times. It's lovely. Fuck Swansea is all I will say. So 3 cunts, dead air, and 3 actual humans. Basically, yeah. FYI, Chris Philp's father Brian stood as a UKIP candidate for Orpington in the 2012 general election. Oh yeah, there's been more Reform Nazi shit. Oh, hang on. Oh. Reform BNP candidate. Here we go. Yes, so yet another. Who would have thunk it? Yeah, oh, fuck off, Sunday Times, you cunt. I'm not paying you money. Eat my fucking penis. Right, who'd have thunk it? Yet another Reform UK candidate who turns out to be a massive Nazi prick. Oh, I know, I was surprised too. Reform candidate resigns over unacceptable BNP social media comments. Grant St Clair Armstrong will no longer stand in Essex constituency of Saffron Walden, again another place we need to build fucking infrastructure, which has most recently represented by Business Secretary Kemi Badenoch. A Reform UK candidate who has resigned after unacceptable historical comments, blah 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 blah. Here we go. So he put in 2010 in a blog, he wrote, "I could weep now every time I pick up a British newspaper and read the latest about the state of the UK. No doubt. Enoch Powell would be doing the same if he was alive. My solution, vote BNP." I do have to decipher that slightly for the Americans. Enoch Powell is a man who is absolutely like the totem of British racism, he made a speech called the Rivers of Blood speech. Ironically, the phrase Rivers of Blood does not appear in it. It's interesting how people remember things, isn't it? It's a bit Berenstein Bears in that respect. Anyway, it was the touchstone for racism in the UK. Absolutely evil shit, right? He was a member of Parliament and all the rest of it. A very interesting man in some respects, but very, very racist. And the only people who say Enoch Powell was right are fascists. Simple. The BNP is the British National Party, or should I say, was the British National Party. Technically, it went out of business a couple of years ago. Very funny. Anyway, that's literally the British Nazis. The British Nazi Party. They're just fascists. Yeah. So, you know, what a surprise. What a surprise that yet another reform candidate turns out to be a fucking fascist. Shocking. Shocking behaviour. I know. I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
We asked people across the UK, which of the following parties do you think would have the best policies for reducing crime? Labour polled the best here on 30...
Okay.
5%, while 20% said the Conservatives, which is broadly in line with national voting intentions.
The thing is, ironically, the Green Party would, in the long run, have the best policies, I think, because they're the party that would reduce economic deprivation the most and narrow the inequality in wealth across the country, which we know would reduce crime enormously, because poverty is the causer of crime, by and large.
12% said reform, 4% the Lib Dems, 23% said they don't know. We also asked, to what extent do you trust or not trust the police's ability to keep women safe in public? Just 10% said they trust the police a lot. Amongst women, it's just 5%.
Who are those 5% of women? Like, you do know they, like, beat women. They rape and kill them regularly. Who the fuck are the 5%? Who? Who? Ladies, come the fuck on. Come on now. Police officers, yeah, possibly police officers, yeah, that might be true. Fuck yeah. But especially, even female cops must know they can't trust cops. Because female cops get abused by male cops too. Fuck. Yeah, mothers of cops, yeah, maybe, yeah. I don't know.
But overall, 52% say they have some or a lot of trust in the police, while more than 42% don't, including 13% who do not trust them at all. Overall, women were evenly split, with 46% saying they trust the police and 46% saying they don't. And our third question, the government has recently announced that in England and Wales, some prisoners near the end of their sentence may be released up to 70 days early in a bid to tackle prison overcrowding. To what extent do you support or oppose this?
This is what I've meant when I've talked with No Justice MTG and all the rest of it, and I've mentioned that if you're a Conservative, fucking Portugal nicked it in the last 2-1, poor Keir, gutted. Anyway, when I've mentioned that if you're a Conservative voter, why would you vote for the Conservative Party? They're not Conservative. This is the sort of thing I mean. So if we've locked somebody up, why do you think that just releasing them early is an acceptable solution? Now, I think we need to get into a far more complex and nuanced discussion about the way in which we deal with the system, and indeed an undermining of the carceral system as a whole. But regardless of that, that's for like a way in the future discussion. Britain is such a reactionary place that we just like we need to just get the basics of this done for now, right? If we've agreed to some extent that these people need to be in prison, just releasing them early doesn't help, does it, really? Like, if you're going to make these laws that if people break them they go to jail, and you think you're doing that because it's a deterrent, how is this not the opposite of a deterrent? Even the meager fucking sentences you're given, you're not even going to have to fucking do them. You just have to do them minus the half you get off for good behaviour and then 70 days. What the fuck is the point of this then? Why are we spending huge sums of money to lock people up if the whole point is for this to be a fucking deterrent and you're just letting them out early anyway? And you're not doing that because you think it's good. You're doing it because you don't have the fucking space in the system. Because even though you're taxing us through the fucking nose, you're providing worse system across the worse services across the entire fucking country. It's just mental. You're not even sending rapists to prison. So even when they go through the fucking massive, horrible process of taking their rapist to court, people who are the victims of sexual abuse, even when they get a successful conviction and sentence, you're still not sending them to jail. You'll send someone to jail for not paying their fucking council tax, though. That's interesting, isn't it? Fucking wankers.
See a pretty even split between those who oppose it or are neutral. Overall, more than half the people polled oppose early release and just 22% support it.
I'm surprised even 22%
well, let's address the
support
first
it.
of those results by going straight to our audience and a question from Simon Atwood. Simon.
We're becoming more fearful of victim-based crime. Only a week ago, Colchester Gazette and others reported on sentencing of a 14-year-old boy who attacked another with a kitchen knife while the teacher was...
Wow, real fucking leftist audio happening right now. I can tell why Farage wanted no part of it.
present. That heroic teacher prevented serious injury.
This audio's so left-wing it might have milkshaked him.
This is my daughter's otherwise superb Ofsted Outstanding Secondary School. But what are the local victim crime facts? Essex Police Annual Publication Performance Summary to October 2023. Of Colchester's near...
Oh, what kind of boomer brings a printout? He's got a print. Oh, no. You know, can I apologise to Wayward Historian? I thought you were going to be the peak boomer for tonight by saying that you just... for writing a check. This guy has literally printed out something, we can't fucking see it, and is now holding it up like that means anything. Why not send me a telegram? And I don't mean on the app, I mean like literally suck, stop, my, stop, cock, stop. You know.
15,000 victim-based crimes, half of those were violent against the person. Only 11.7% were solved. It turns out Colchester and Essex Police as a whole did very well. Nationally, this figure shockingly averages nearer 6%.
Can you hurry the fuck up, mate?
Solved.
I mean, not only do you sound like a fucking porn version of Alan Partridge, you boring fuck, but I don't even know what the point you're making is with your fucking printouts. Send a fucking carrier pigeon.
Do the panel find current crime figures fearful, and what new measures would you propose to reduce victim-based crime and improve policing solved statistics?
Okay, before we go...
Fuck me, that was terrible. That was terrible on every level. I think his question was about graphs or something, or like printing. So I don't know.
To the panel, I want to bring in another member of our audience, Rory Ryhill, who has just resigned as a police sergeant in the Metropolitan Police after 11 years. Rory, where are you?
Hello, yes.
Oh yeah, the first two goals for Turkey were mental. Yeah, true. Poor Georgia though, they impressed me. For a team that have never qualified for anything ever, they did well. And when I say Georgia, I don't mean Atlanta and Augusta. I mean like, you know, the European nation of Georgia. It's not really Europe, is it? Like, I mean, it might technically be, but like, it's not actually, is it? It's like Russia's gooch. What the fuck?
Yeah. So, I've recently resigned as a police sergeant in the Metropolitan Police Service, where I proudly served for 11 years. I became disillusioned with the career that I loved due to atrocious working conditions, ineffective IT, and a complete lack of support from politics.
They undid the remarks at the start about boats. What are you talking about?
Politicians at every level and from every party. It was recently publicised that a third of my former colleagues are considering...
Why is there a second question? They didn't answer anything. Did I miss something? No, this, what?
...a similar move in resignation. What specific actions would the panel take to retain our talented police officers across the country?
OK, let's begin with Chris Philp.
Christian, well, Simon, thank you for your question, because the father of a daughter myself, the story you told about what happened at your daughter's school is as concerning to me as it is to you. Nobody wants their daughter or their son or any of their relations exposed to violence of that kind. Now, what I can say by way of reassurance is that since 2010, violent crime, according to the Office for National Statistics...
Absolutely pointless. Shut up, Hans. Shut up, Gunter. What's the best way to donate? I'm a bit skint at the moment, but it's okay, I'll donate later on in the week. Scribby, if money's tight, don't. You need to look after yourself, right? For anyone who wants to, PayPal is there. You can do that. That's probably the best way, because it's straightforward. But, like, if you don't have the money, that's fine. You really don't have to. Like, I realise that my donating to my stream is, like, absolutely a fucking luxury that no one needs to do. I'm always very grateful when people do, and honoured. But if money's tight for you, just don't. Is what I would say. Which I know is not like the way to become successful as a streamer. I should do the fucking prosperity gospel bit and say like, you should send me, if you've not got $2, you should send me $10. Fuck yeah. You can sub with Amazon Prime to Kev. That is true, you can do that. Actually, fuck it, I'll do the shill bit. Right, you can hit the follow button, you can subscribe. You can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can give subs to the community. You can do bitty bits, $200. $200? That will get you a text-to-speech, but that's not what I meant. 200 bits will get you a text-to-speech. You can do, you can giganticize, or gigantify, whatever it was, emotes now for 30 bits. Okay, if you wanted to, that's a thing you can do. What else can you do? You can do super chats while the Streamlabs link below. You can help me on Patreon and or PayPal. You can also stroke my penis. No, you can't do that. No. You cannot touch it. Ooh. Can't touch this.
Has come down by 44%, which is significant progress. But we do need to go further. Now, in relation to knife crime, the incident you mentioned involved a...
Yeah, the cow thing. Did you see that? Yeah. Mental. Right, so not only do the police treat people badly, but they fucking ran over a police car. Police ran over a fucking cow. Right, so there was a fucking... Hang on a minute. Go on, there we go. Police car... Staines is a town, by the way, where Ali G is from. Police officers who hit cow with patrol car in Staines removed from frontline duties. They've purposefully ran down a fucking cow. A cow. They tried to kill a cow with a car. Now, this is how shit the police are. Even though they had the cow right there and the car right there and they hit the cow, they didn't even fucking kill it. Apparently the cow's fine. They failed to kill a cow with a car. How shit are you? Now, to be fair, they probably don't train. They probably, when they're doing driving training for police, they probably don't, like, target practice on cows or whatever, right? But even so, I reckon I could kill a cow with a car. I don't think it would be that difficult, actually. But apparently, police can't, because they're shit. They probably did sexually harass it or racially profile it, though, so, you know.
A 14-year-old perpetrator, I think you said. Now, I remember attending a few months ago the tragic funeral of Eliane and Amy.
Yeah, they target ethnic minorities, that's true. To be fair, it was a brown cow, though, so I can't help but feel they may have racially profiled the cow.
Croydon, a 15-year-old girl murdered by a young alleged perpetrator. So what I'd like to see is more early intervention to get those youngsters onto the right track. We're investing an extra, we're going to invest next year £75 million in doing that. I'm working to identify young people in local authority areas most at risk of getting onto the wrong track, so we can intervene early with mentoring and other interventions to stop people
though?
that young committing offences in the first place. But that is only part of it. We need tougher enforcement as well. I believe in stop and search as a way of taking knives off the street. Labour's Mayor Sadiq Khan in London unfortunately doesn't, which leads...
He's brown and a Muslim. Be scared. Be very scared.
...leads, I think, to London streets being less safe. We also need to invest in hotspot policing.
Can you take a drink, mate? Because I can literally hear you going in between every fucking word. Take a drink, wet your whistle, and then continue to speak.
We've now got hotspot patrols. They launched just a few weeks ago across England and Wales. Every single police force, intensive patrols in areas where antisocial behaviour and serious violence...
I'm going to fuck you up, bruh. What the fuck are you doing?
Violence is a problem, including many right here in Essex, to make sure the police are on the spot when antisocial behaviour or other incidents may occur. So while it's good that we've got violent crime down by 44% during this government's term of office, we need to go further. Those measures, combined with record ever police numbers and the 8,000 extra officers we're going to hire, I hope and I...
Oh, mate, you... Oh. It's gonna fucking kill me. It's going to kill me. You can't keep smacking like that. It's gonna fucking drive me mental. Is it just me? Is this one of my weird... I am quite neurotic. Or as I like to say, I live with a neurotic. I live by myself.
I expect will make sure that fathers like you and me and mothers and fathers across the country can be confident that their children are going to be safe.
Just factually, of course, we should tell people that although the absolute number of police officers, if they deliver, will be the highest ever, they won't be the highest ever per capita. Nick Thomas-Symonds, he's the policing minister. Is he on the right track?
No, and thank you, first of all, Simon, for your question. It's awful to hear about the incident at your daughter's school. And thank you, sir, for your 11 years of service to the Metropolitan Police. And I'm very sorry to hear about your experience and how you feel about a lack of support. Because
that's
police
not
officers...
me. I'm not every white guy with a beard. Stop it.
...up and down the country.
You know who this guy reminds me of? What's the name? Hang on. I can't remember the name of the fucking character. No, not that fucker. No. I'll look for it.
Going out and putting themselves in harm's way on the front line to try to protect other people. I think we should appreciate and mark that. Fundamentally, we need to protect communities, we need to prevent crime, and we need to punish criminals. And frankly, the Conservatives are failing on all three. And listening to Chris then as the policing minister, somehow boasting about violent crime coming down, that really is out of touch with how people feel up and down the country. I think of a grandmother that I met in my hometown only in recent...
Apparently it's called the Sun Tauran. There you go. That's who he reminds me of. You can see it, right? There are similarities there, I think.
Weeks. Worked hard all her life trying to enjoy her retirement, and yet telling me that she doesn't feel safe when she is going out.
I googled Doctor Who Big Head Monster to get that.
On the streets
For what it's
at
worth.
night. We need to change that, and one of the fundamental things we have to do is the restoration of neighbourhood policing, because when the Conservatives tell you about more police officers, it's a con trick. The first thing they did coming into power in 2010 was to cut our police by 21,000. They somehow want us to be grateful for putting 20,000 of those back.
He looks like Stuart Lee and Richard Herring. He does.
But they're offering 8,000 and you're only offering 3,000.
We are saying we will put 13,000 officers on our streets, a real visible policing presence.
Only 3,000 new.
Free. Well, what we're talking about is we will take 3,000 from the existing uplift to go out into communities, the additional 3,000, 4,000 PCSOs, an additional 3,000 special constables, 13,000 in total, to give that visible reassurance to our communities that, frankly, when I go up and down the country, people tell me is desperately needed.
OK, Keith Brown, I mean, it was reported last year that 100 serving officers in Scotland had applied to join a single police force in Australia. You've got the same problem.
By the way, as we were talking earlier about women feeling safe, are any of the turfoids going to mention the fact that only 5% of women trust the police and what the police are going to do about that? Because I hear them going on about trans people going for a piss, but I don't hear them going on about the police being a massive threat to women to the point where 5% of them trust the police. Yeah, I did see this. Yeah, the Stephen Lawrence detectives won't face any charges. That wasn't a massive surprise, in all honesty. A, because the system's still fucking racist, and B, the Crown Prosecution Service, who are the ones deciding on it, obviously, have to go by what the law says, right? Do they have reasonable cause to think that there will be a prosecution? And there clearly isn't, because the problem is that the law's wrong. The system is racist. The system is massively stacked in favour of protecting police who actively aided and abetted the destruction of evidence in the case of Stephen Lawrence and allowed racist murderers to walk free to this day. It's the laws that are wrong. The entire system is wrong and needs to be fucking systematically burned down and replaced. You can't reform this. This cannot be tinkered with until it's okay. From the Chief Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police down to your average Bobby, the system is corrupt. The laws are corrupt. It needs to be fucking done away with. We need a radical change in our entire approach to this subject. Otherwise, this kind of shit will just continue to fucking happen.
As this man here in the Met.
Well, first of all, I should say that this election will not change administration of the police in Scotland. It's dealt with by the government, currently the SNP government. And to make some suggestions for Simon for the terrible situation he described, first of all, you should pay your police officers more. So in Scotland, every single rank of police officer is paid more than they are in England and Wales. You should have...
So this is what I mean about the SNP kind of being shit-libby when it comes to this kind of thing. This is what I mean. Yeah, we need to give more money to the rapists and domestic abusers. Awesome.
More police officers. So we have around 20% more police officers per capita in Scotland than they have in England and Wales. And thirdly, we had...
What do we think the Reform Party guy, what do we think Richard Tice is going to say? I think we should put criminals into a mincing machine and feed them to dogs.
A very successful initiatives called No Knives, Better Lives, which instead of taking what you've heard from the Conservatives, the hit them hard, the stop and search stuff, it was about public health. And it oversaw a massive reduction in knife crime. It worked. I mean, Glasgow in particular, the reputation, as you may know, for many years has been a knife capital, certainly of Scotland, perhaps even the UK. We have dramatically reduced knife crime since 2007. However, all those things are put at jeopardy by what you've not heard from the two speakers, the £18 billion of cuts, which they're both going to bring in, and that will affect police.
Is it a visual? I think it's because Tice and Runap Yarworth are quite tall, but the two women do look very, very short. Like, I don't think they've done them any favours there by putting them next to the really tall guy, and then just beyond them, so that the extra perspective distance makes them look even shorter. Look, if you go from shortest to tallest, and as you go further away from the camera, it would kind of level things off visually for you. But they've got the tall guy first, and then two short women, and it just makes them look they're like 3 feet shorter than the dude. It looks really weird. The Greens look like a hobbit. She does look like a hobbit. She really does. Or get the taller ones to stand in a little hole, a little divot in the floor, just to level things off a bit, you know?
In Scotland, because the cuts which you've seen already under austerity will come from Labour, they'll come from Tories, whoever gets in, and that is the biggest threat to continued effective policing in Scotland, and I have every sympathy with the situation you've described.
Chris Phil, that's right, isn't it?
Well,
You've got £18 billion of cuts up your sleeve.
The Scottish Government already receive much more generous funding than England and Wales because of the Barnett formula. And as I say, and actually police numbers in Scotland have recently gone down. We have now hit record ever numbers across England and Wales. More, in fact.
I'm not dissing the power, Pixie. All power to her. She's a short queen and we love her. I'm just saying that, like, the editors of this show have not done her any favours, is what I'm saying.
As Nick knows, Nick knows, more than there were in 2010 by about 3,000.
Richard Tyson.
And we're
be honest with the figures.
8,000 more.
Since you've been in charge, the population has increased by about 6 million.
Crime's
people.
gone down.
No, it
Crime
hasn't.
has gone down.
No,
Yes,
it hasn't.
has.
Knife crime has almost tripled. Let's remember, you talk about stop and search, but actually stop and search under your government has reduced by 2/3 in the last 14 years. Per 100,000 people, we're almost 10% less officers, police officers across England and Wales. So the reality is that you've presided over a massive reduction, and that we've got to get more police out on the streets, away from the back office, away from their desks, get police officers on the streets, preventing crime.
Of course, their first go-to is immigrants. The population has gone up by 600 squillion people. Is literally the first thing is. Oh, that's harsh. You have done him dirty there. That is filthy, Lord Fritos, and I appreciate it enormously.
I'm reassuring people. Stop and search works. We know it works. We need to dramatically increase the use of it.
Carla Denyer, you're shaking your head at that.
I am, because research from the Runnymede Trust has shown that black people are 18 times more likely to be stopped with stop and search.
Yeah, but the people who like stop and search don't think that's a bad thing. That's the problem you're going to run up against there. That is absolutely a true statistic, but that's why they want it to happen. You're literally selling the idea to them. They're like, oh yeah, let's do that. Let's do much more of that. Because they're cunts.
Than people who are not black. So it's really clear. The way that stop and search works, whether it's intended to be or not, is racist, and the Green Party would stop the routine use of stop and search.
Does that mean it doesn't work?
So
Good. Awesome. Yeah, no, Green Party, good. Yeah.
So knife crime's going to go up, because the evidence is there, Carla. Reduce stop and search, knife crime soars.
No, it doesn't.
You want more
in
knife
Scotland.
crime?
Not in Scotland, yeah.
Scotland.
We would stop the routine use of stop and search if there is a reasonable
Brilliant. So the
suspicion.
Green Party get in,
then
we're all going to be,
if there is a reasonable
stabbed and knifed
suspicion,
even more.
then
If the Green Party get in, you're all going to be stabbed and knifed more. This is a serious political party, is it? Fucking hell. This is just fast shit. It's just fast shit.
then sure, you need to search somebody. But the routine use of stop and search, whether it's intended to be or not, is a racist
It's
endeavour.
called a deterrent. That's what policing is all about. It's being a deterrent.
Daisy Cooper from the Lib Dems.
You don't care about it being disproportionately used against black people, Richard? Oh, of course not. You're white.
If I can speak to Simon, can I just say it's every parent's worst nightmare that their child might have a knife pulled on them. The Conservatives have tried to ban zombie knives 3 times in the last few years, and it's clear that that isn't working. So we do need a different approach. We have to have expert youth services that can go in and support young people who are scared in their communities. We have got to have community policing so that police officers know their communities. They work with faith groups, community groups, neighbourhood watch, all those kind of different groups. They work hand in glove so they have intelligence.
Did someone raid into the YouTube, or have we just got an abnormally high number of people? I don't know. Anyway, hello YouTube people. You should come over to Twitch. Say hello to me on the Twitches, and Twitch people go and say hello on the YouTubes. Let's get some cross-platform pollination going, shall we? Yeah.
led. And on stop and search, let's be really clear, there is a place for stop and search, but it has to be based on intelligence, not on profiling. And the use of suspicionless stop and search is what builds up animosity and a distrust between communities and police.
Oh, zombie knife. It's the weird little curly... Hang on a minute. So, zombie knife, also known as a zombie killer knife or zombie slayer knife, is a type of ornate knife or bladed weapon inspired by zombie films and TV series. These knives can range in size and shape and are commonly defined by having a cutting edge, a serrated edge, and images or words on the blade. So, yeah, the weird curly knife thing. Your island is bonkers. Abso-fucking-lutely, yes.
Police.
Okay.
I've been trying to tell you. I've been trying to say.
Rather than building the trust that we so desperately need.
Let's hear from Plaid Cymru and Rhun ap Iorwerth.
We're talking about victims. That's what was at the heart of the question. I was attacked when I was about 13 or 14.
How do you ban it? Well, you can ban it legally, just like you can ban anything legally. But as we saw in America with prohibition, you can pass a law to say something is banned. Can you actually ban it? No.
By other teenagers. It left a deep scar on me for many years, actually. No knives involved, thankfully, but it didn't take away the fear in me at that time. And when the same thing happened to my son recently, I could feel his pain. On knife crime, we had the attack at a school in Ammanford, didn't we, in the south of Wales recently?
They're called mall ninja knives in America. Okay. Fair enough. It seems like a very odd thing. Okay. Zombie knives. You can't be a real country. Unfortunately, we are a real country. A really, really shit country.
Again, looking at the victims, Plaid Cymru is talking about establishing a role of a victims commissioner for Wales, because it's by listening to and hearing and acting on the fears and the wishes of victims that we build a better criminal justice system. On policing, by the way, and retention, it's like with teachers and nurses in many ways. What I think police women and men want to feel is to feel valued. And when you've gone through a process over the past 14 years of being told, we want fewer police, public spending cuts, slashes the numbers, then they gradually build it back up when they realise the errors of their ways, that just undermines policing. Okay. And some of it's about pay, but some of it is about just feeling valued. But for us in Wales, of course, we need to get hold of powers over policing. Every bit of evidence suggests we should.
So many of the parties, it's only the Greens so far that have actually spoken out and said that the police, to curb their powers in any way. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the SNP would probably do a better job than the Tories. I think the Plaid Cymru would probably do better than the Tories and Labour, whatever, right? In terms of policing. But they've all basically bought into the concept of the carceral state. They've all bought into the concept that the police are like some inherent good and are worth it. And so we need to spend more money on it. And that, I don't think, is fucking true. The police as currently constituted need to be massively defunded and that money moved into other areas. In fact, actually, they need to be fucking replaced with an actual service fit for that purpose. Because I don't think you're ever going to have a system where you can have no policing. I think the absolutist, anarchist argument on this is just fucking wrong. I think you're going to need some kind of system in place in any society, no matter how one structures it for this. But the current policing, as it's done, is just so badly out of whack with what's actually needed and what would actually reduce the amount of crime and violence and theft and all the rest of it. And yet all of these parties, because they are institutionalists in so many ways, the SNP have been in government. Plaid Cymru, to a certain extent, have been in power sharing in Wales. They've all bought into the institutionalist way of thinking, which involves having the police, having the carceral state there. And so it's not even talked about. It's not even on the agenda actual reform or actual replacement or actual defunding. So fundamentally nothing will change. And again, as the person pointed out, people's fear of crime is rising. But people's fear of crime is always rising. Crime itself has actually been, to a large extent, especially violent crime, decreasing. And I think the distinction between those two things is an important one to note. Have you seen The Culture High? Funny bit from Mr. Nice, one of the biggest cannabis smugglers from the last few decades, talking about how if this was in a different society, there'd still be a police force, just different laws to enforce. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Like I said, they won't send rapists to prison, but they will send council tax evaders to prison. Do you know what I mean? The police, this is the kind of, you can tell where their priorities lie and who they're governing on behalf of. The police will attack and destroy the few properties that a homeless person has. If a homeless person has like a tent that they are able to put up and it gives them some small respite from the cold, wind and rain in their situation, they'll tear that down. They'll destroy it. They'll destroy their property, knowing that the homeless person doesn't have recourse to even go to the courts for that damaged property. Let alone actually, you know, the wherewithal or the fucking access to any kind of, you know, legal services. And yet, just down the road in the city of London, people can steal fucking billions, and the police nowhere to be seen. Don't give a fuck. Aren't even going to pretend to investigate. Which one of those people is a menace to society? The homeless person desperately striving to survive, or the cunt stealing your pension? And which one do the police go after?
Both the Conservatives and Labour ignore that.
Let's move to another aspect of this from the audience. No, hold on. I need to bring in another question from the audience, which is informed by our poll.
Yeah, be very grateful that most British police do not have guns. Think of the number they'd fucking kill if they could. I mean, they're still able to enact violence on people, but they kill way fewer for it. Jesus Christ. Imagine your average couple with a fucking gun. That would be fucking terrifying.
Petra Jones.
Yeah, my question is specifically about the safety of women and girls and how can the rates of violence against women and girls be reduced?
Carla Denyer from the Greens.
Well, you're right to ask the question. This is such a serious issue, and the continuing abuse, harassment and worse of women and girls in this country is an absolute stain on our society. The Green Party would make it a priority to end domestic abuse and violence against women and girls. We want to free up police time to ensure that they can focus on those issues. And we would make sure...
I mean, the Tory party would do that, but where would they get their backbenchers from? Do you know what I mean?
That police are trained to deal with domestic violence, because too often we hear reports of women who have brought these cases to the police and have not been taken seriously. So that's the absolute top line for me. We would also, and this has been a long-running Green Party campaign for a few years, set up by our former deputy leader, Amelia Womack.
Scouse Raw, I'm also old and would absolutely welcome the reintroduction of Banana Man. Banana Man is honestly, I think he's the crime fighter we could all get behind. He's what we need. For those who don't know, we're referring to an old people, i.e. from the 1980s, Banana, if I can fucking spell, cartoon series called Banana Man. And it was, honestly, I think it's the greatest thing that's ever... There are entire episodes on YouTube. Oh, fucking end all things.
This is 29 Acacia Road.
I've introduced you to the beauty that is Brom. Now get ready for Banana Man.
Eric, schoolboy who leads an amazing double life. But when Eric eats a banana, an amazing transformation occurs. Eric is Banana Man, ever alert for the call to action.
Mr. Bun the baker?
No, he's not at home.
I'll raise you 20 gobstoppers.
But while Eric and the babysitter played their innocent game of happy families, sinister forces were plotting the destruction of Banana Man.
Also,
Yes.
isn't the voiceover done by Graham Chapman as well from Monty Python, if I recall correctly? Does it say in the comments? Oh no, is it Tim Brooke Taylor? Oh well, posh English lads, whatever.
Fans, it was evil General Blight and his old school chum, Dr. Gloom.
I tell you, Doctor, I could take over the world if it weren't for Banana Man. Sometimes I think he's indestructible.
But we don't have to destroy him, Beaky.
I told you never to use that name.
Sorry, John. Anyway, I can deal with the big banana. Just get into my suit.
Okay, I didn't get the racial overtones involved in that character before when I was a kid. Okay. Yeah. That's troubling.
We have just heard that unless Banana Man appears in person to negotiate with Dr. Gloom, the world will end at midnight and the late-night movie will be cancelled.
Gosh, there's no time to lose.
I thought we didn't negotiate with terrorists. What's happening here?
Where is this Dr. Gloom?
42A Railway Company. But hurry, Banana Man.
What is going on? I don't even know.
Isn't it?
Ah, the famous Banana Man.
And
What the
the
fuck is going on with that guy's head?
infamous Dr. Gloom, I presume. Now, what's all this about cancelling the midnight movie?
All in good time, Banana Brain. First, make yourself comfortable on this operating table, and we shall begin your treatment.
Treatment? I don't need any treatment. I feel fine.
Don't count on it. Here, anesthetic.
Ouch.
Don't go away. Only be a minute.
Ouch. What the fuck is this? Ouch. What the fuck is happening? This is more mental than I remember. See, as a kid, you don't pick up on the mental, I don't think. You just look, it's pretty colours. Oh, it's Banana Man. Ouch.
Must warm up my age reversing machine.
Where am I? Hello. Is that a little nightingale?
No, it's me, Boss Crow. Now listen, don't worry. I shall think of something. Right.
Your voices are shit, mate, because that's clearly the same person doing those two voices. It's like listening to fucking Family Guy.
A couple of bursts.
It's all just Seth MacFarlane talking to Seth MacFarlane sometimes.
And you're a teenage banana.
Oh.
A toddler. And now, who's that pretty little boy then? Now, let us take a happy snap for your banana fans all over the world.
Tonight, the fate of the world still hangs in the balance. And if this picture is authentic,
is going
Banana
on?
Man is powerless to help us.
That you, Doc? My plans are almost complete.
That's the loudest baby ever.
I think the machine. He's regressing it. He's quite slowly. Quite. Please be quiet. How can I carry on a conversation with all the racket? Give the kid a banana. That'll quieten him. Oh yes, Hickey, I'm a banana.
Hello. Hello.
It's just a little problem, General, and I'll call you back. And you, prepare to become a banana tot again.
No. On reflection, it's your turn, Doc.
This is shit. I remember this. I loved this show as a kid. I loved this show as a kid, and it's fucking awful. Von Smallhausen from Hello Hello. Yeah, it probably is, you know. I loved Hello Hello. Oh, I should show people Hello Hello at some point. On reflection. No, I got the joke, because it's a mirror. You know, I got that. Oh, the raccoons was fucking dope. Oh, I can't... You know what? Stop fucking debating me with 1980s and 90s cartoons. I will not be distracted from Carla Denyer making a serious point about Banana Man or something.
Is to make misogyny a hate crime. It's amazing that it isn't already. I think that would help
Eric is
the police
Banana
and our
Man,
justice
true.
system to take it seriously. And finally, we would develop and implement a new UK-wide strategy to tackle rape, sexual abuse, FGM and trafficking.
You don't get many transitions from bits of Banana Man shite to leader of a political party talking about rape. Not many channels will give you that kind of absolutely seamless, just fucking seamless transition from one topic to the next. Segue? Who needs a fucking segue, bitches?
Okay.
But to undermine, just briefly, just to
need to be really quick,
underpin all of this, we need proper accountability so that women can regain trust in the police force, because too many incidents in recent years, police officers have been part of the problem rather than the solution.
I'm going to have to ask you all to
No, Carla didn't say anything about Banana Man. I was doing a joke. I was pretending to still be talking about Banana anyway.
to be briefer with your answers, because we've got quite a few questions to get through. Does Labour want a misogyny hate crime?
Addressing violence against women and girls has to be a guiding mission of any government. And if Labour were privileged enough to form a government, that is exactly what it would be. Just 3 in 100.
What were the pink animals in raccoons? What the fuck were those animals? Were they meant to be like pigs or like weird aardvarks with bent noses or whatever? See, now I'm just wondering about the raccoons. The raccoons. What were the raccoons? Well, the raccoons were raccoons. That's pretty obvious. It's self-explanatory. They are aardvarks. They're meant to be but aardvarks don't have bent noses. And yet Cyril Sneer clearly has a fucking bent nose. Like, hang on a minute, where are we? Why can't I not fucking... Why does Sid Sneer not have his own hyperlink fucking thing on Wikipedia? Look, Cyril Sneer has a bent-ass fucking... There's a raccoons wiki. Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? It's the internet. Porn and raccoon wikis. That's all it is. Look, he's got a bent nose. Raccoons don't fucking look like that. Raccoons don't look anything like this fucking thing. It looks like a meth pig. It's a fucking meth pig. It's a crackhead pig.
Reported rapes results in a charge, let alone a conviction. And rape victims are waiting on average 400 days when it does get to that initial charge. What we need to do as a first step is we need specialist rape
Also,
court.
yeah, Cyril Sneer, that's the beautiful thing about the raccoons, is it's a genuinely anti-capitalist message. Because Cyril Sneer's a wanker who you're supposed to hate, and rightly so. And the raccoons are always like... and even his little aardvark, his little crackhead fucking pig nephews are like foiling his weird plans to like poison shit or whatever. It's actually pretty good. That's an anti-Semitism, true. To be fair, it was very anti-Semitic in that it was anti-capitalist, and apparently those two things are the same according to some people who are cunts.
In our criminal justice system to speed that up. And secondly, we need to make sure that victims are at the heart of the process and get the support they need. Because what happens with delays and results like that is it puts people off coming forward, and it also...
This multi-party debate on 80s and 90s kids shows is very timely.
True. True.
What is the Labour Party position on Fat Tulip's garden? Also, you should play the Trapdoor theme song later.
Well, you know what, Scouse Raw, I don't think I'll do that. Because one thing you forgot to mention, and I think it's a fucking disgrace that you forgot, and by the way, thank you for the bits. It's a fucking disgrace that you didn't even mention the complete omission from the Labour Party manifesto of any mention of the Poddington Peas. Not even one solitary mention of the peas. And I can't vote for that. I won't vote for that.
Also means that in the course of the criminal process, witnesses go to one side, they don't turn up. We have to make it a guiding mission and a priority, and that's exactly...
But you won't go as far as the Greens, clearly, on a hate law, on misogyny.
Good night, Fogel. Much love.
Well, so I think we absolutely need to tackle misogyny. I think we need to be addressing it in schools before...
Exactly, they are down at the bottom of the garden. So why not show some fucking support for the Poddington Peas? Or you know what? Even the Reform Party came out and said that the Poddington Peas should be deported. At least they mentioned them. At least they fucking mentioned them. They acknowledged their existence. The Labour Party don't even want to mention. They don't even want to deal with the Poddington Peas. Pricks.
People are even adults and coming into society. Absolutely, we need to deal
Keir
with misogyny
Starmer,
in our
stop
society.
sitting
But
on the
that is
fence. You can't both side the Poddington Peas. I won't have it.
Leadership from government, and it's about all of us together too.
Keith Brown from the SNP.
Well, we are quite far down the road towards the Misogyny Act, actually
That
informed by the
stare
work of
killed
Helena
me.
Kennedy,
Thank
who's
you.
a Labour peer in the House of Lords. And it is a huge issue, and it reflects wider society, the misogyny that we see there. And some of the stuff that's happened in the Met, which people will be familiar with, is not unknown in Scotland as well. And it doesn't just affect women and girls or members of the public. It
None of the... I'm not just every white guy with a beard. Stop.
affects women and women
Stop
in
it.
particular in the police force. So you have to have that transparency that's been talked about. You have to have proper vetting. The vetting has not been good, and even finding out a police officer that served with another police force, what their background is, you have to know that, and you have to have the accountability, which means that when somebody is accused of something, there's a proper process that people can have faith in. So there is a huge job to do in terms of rebuilding trust across the country. The same will be true in Scotland as well. But the root of it is the misogyny, which is evident in wider society, and that's why I'm very proud that Scotland's taking the lead in terms of misogyny.
The familyness! The familyness! Oh my God, I'd forgotten about the familyness even existing. I haven't thought about the familyness in, fuck me, 25 years. The fucking familyness. Oh my God. Oh, you're breaking my fucking brain. I mean, firstly, well done everyone in chat. You have successfully debated me. I don't know what any of these cunts are even talking about anymore. I haven't been listening to them. I don't know what any of them have said. I have no idea what any of their positions are. I'm not listening to that shite now, right? I'm now just thinking about the Poddington Peas and the fucking familyness. The Moomins, don't even get me started. I could be here all fucking day on the Moomins. Fucking crikey. I'm all over the place. I've got no idea what's going on. I'm trying to be serious. They're talking about rape and stuff. And I'm like, all I'm thinking about is Cyril Sneer's bent nose. And I don't know whether that's this, yeah. Are we still a politics channel now? I don't think so. Were we ever truly a politics channel, or were we mostly a 90s and 80s nostalgia channel? Were we mostly a She-Ra channel? I don't know. Trapdoor. Oh, Bananas in Pyjamas. That's two banana-based nostalgia shows for tonight. Bananas in pyjamas are coming down the stairs. Bananas in pyjamas are racially abusing a local family. I've added that last line for comedic effect because I couldn't remember
what you thought
it
of the poll, but you know, almost half of the women saying they have confidence in the police, but it means that every other one doesn't. That's quite shocking, isn't it?
It's not shocking to me as a woman. It really isn't. What I would say is the first thing we have to do is work on prevention. And that's something that doesn't get talked about enough. So Liberal Democrats...
I like that she's very smiley and she seems very happy, although she is a Lib Dem, so I don't think she deserves to be happy. So it's an annoying conundrum for me. In terms of her politics, she's a Lib Dem, who cares?
Would require every social media company to publish
I might
regularly
as well
what they're
talk
doing
about
to
the
tackle
fucking
online
Pollington
abuse and violence and hate towards women.
Honestly, the
We need to have
Pollington Peas are more politically efficacious than these fucking pricks. The Pollington Peas would have definitely got more than a 5p bag tax out of Cameron. Fucking tragic.
Public safety campaigns. We know that they've worked in other parts of the world, particularly empowering men to root out misogyny and sexism amongst their male counterparts. Then we have to make misogyny a hate crime. We have to, because it will... then
Honestly, I can see some of the fucking YouTube conservatoids losing their shit at that. Oh, she said men need to teach other men not to be sexist, which is itself somehow sexist.
Treat those hate crimes with the same seriousness as any hate that is driven by racial or religious hatred. We want to have a domestic abuse expert in every single police force and in every single 999 response room as well. And finally, on the point about the Met, what I would say, and to Rory, I think her name was, who had worked in the Met, I'm from Hertfordshire. Hertfordshire Police Force works very closely with the Met. And I have to say, the Louise Casey review that happened into the standards of the Met.
How do we have this many people on YouTube? I mean, firstly, hello there, much love. But also, like, it doesn't make sense. Is it just because No Justice isn't streaming? Have I just got the No Justice refugees? I presume that must be it, right? Well, you know what? Her going on a holiday might not be an entirely bad thing then. Let's look at the silver lining. I mean, the overall quality of British political coverage on YouTube and Twitch is going to go fucking through the floor. But I will get a marked rise in viewership, so... I just liked your beard, and that's why I'm here. Oh, that's fair enough. Come for the beard, stay for the 80s cartoon chit-chat. You're cracking it. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. When you say I'm cracking, I think you mean like I'm cracking up, like I'm a fucking nutcase or something. In which case, you're probably correct. What the fuck is that? Who made Rip Shaft? Why did you create this fucking visual abortion?
Get some help.
What, this absolute fucking reprobate abomination? Look at it. The fuck is... That's a police rabbit with my face... Why do the police have a rabbit with my face on it? Renationalised Postman Pat. Fucking true, by the way. There is actually... Okay, Andrew Black, you make a silly point, or you make a serious point in a very silly way. Postman Pat, for those who don't know, was an old fucking... It's not even a cartoon, is it? It's like it was a stop motion animation thing from back in the 70s and 80s, right? But there is actually a serious point behind the renationalised Postman Pat. He was a postman, obviously, in a town, right, in a little village, and the postman being a regular part of it, having a regular routine of delivering to the same houses every day for month and month, year on year, right, had an element of like underpinning the social fabric of a society. It was a person that everyone trusted, a person that everyone knew. It was something that the area had in common. It was one of the kind of one of the tent pegs in the society tent of the local area, in a way that the privatised post office, now you just get some random fucking bloke. It's usually a bloke. Men are predominantly the deliverers of the final mile of mail, and so you now don't have that thing. It's not the thing. Look, if nothing else about the social fabric had changed and just the regular postman had gone away, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Okay, but it's sort of symbolic of the way in which we don't look at the relatively small things that all aggregate into a feeling of local community and of togetherness and solidarity in a society. And now we're just these atomized people We don't have the same milkman. We don't have the same postman. The people who work at the shop don't fucking know anybody. There's no community anymore. There's no fucking society anymore. So even though you jokingly say renationalise Postman Pat, renationalising the post office and having that as one of the core foundation points of whatever society we have in the future, I think it's actually a serious point that's worth any serious political party taking into account. Unfortunately, they fucking won't, though. Oh, let's have a bit of fucking Postman Pat. Fuck it. Postman Pat, Postman Twat.
Postman Pat,
Postman Pat, Postman Pat,
and his black and white cat.
Not racial.
Early in the morning, just as day is dawning, he picks up all the post bags in his van.
There you go. Fucking good old Pat. A British legend, Postman Pat. And, you know what? I'm going to say it. I reckon he was hung as well. I reckon he was laying pipe. You know he was getting pussy on the reg, right? And he was, I mean, honestly, like a fucking rolling pin. Fact.
It was really shocking, and it blew a lid off the institutional sexism, misogyny, homophobia and racism that existed in that force. And I know that there are many people in the Met who don't deserve to be working there, and there are many people who do, because many of them have said to me that they were the good guys. They're the ones that spoke up bravely to call out those people.
What the fuck is this kink? Are you showing me kink stuff now, Crastronomy?
Come on then, let's be having you.
Oh.
Hey, Bayek.
Is this like one of those pornos where the woman gets stuck in the washing machine? Is it that? Is that what we're watching now? Postman Pat got stuck by accident in the tree with a conveniently placed hole around his rectum.
Right, everyone, into line. Hey!
Okay, we're doing a human cock centipede. Okay, good.
Hey! Ow!
We're doing a cock conga line. That's advanced manoeuvring. I appreciate that. Oh. There's going to be some broken banjo strings there. Fuck me. Oh, that's a cocktastrophe. Good lord.
Who were involved in the most horrific forms of conduct. So we have to support our police officers.
Although, to be fair, the women with the strap-ons probably all right.
So that all of us can have trust in the police.
Richard Tice, given what we've seen some of your candidates say, are you sure they're all on the right side of this debate?
Well, I certainly hope so. Look, the reality is trust in police is woeful, at 50% plus or minus. That is a disaster. We have to improve that. The police themselves have to do much more. But the time that crimes take, or potential crimes, take to go through the criminal justice system is an absolute disgrace. We have to accelerate that. Only 5% of crimes are now resulting in a charge. And violence against women and girls is absolutely abominable. And women and girls have got to feel much, much more confidence. We've got to have much faster criminal justice system, and there has to be proper sentencing that go right through until the end of the sentence, not to be let out early.
Briefly, Chris Phil.
Yeah, so look, Petra, you're right to raise this. Women and girls across the country should feel safe to walk the streets at day or at night.
Do you think they'd feel safe amongst any of your fellow MPs? Well, technically they're not MPs anymore. Government has been, the Parliament has been dissolved. If only it had literally been dissolved. Anyway, yeah, your MPs are regularly outed as sexual abusers, mate. Look inward first.
Without feeling any fear, and as a father of a young daughter, I feel that as strongly as anyone. We've recruited 1,000 independent sexual violence advisors to support victims through the criminal justice process. There's 1,000 extra judges to speed up the legal process. Rape prosecutions are 56% higher than they were.
Take a drink.
In 2010 under Labour. And there's a whole range of things that this government has made illegal, coercive and controlling behaviour. We've banned upskirting. We've made stalking illegal.
You're going to mention that it was your MPs who initially tried to block the law against upskirting, and it was so embarrassing for the government that they had to take that private member's bill and make it a government bill to make sure it got through, because the headlines were so embarrassing that Christopher Chope MP literally rejected, as a backbencher, as you can, unfortunately, that bill. Are you going to mention that at all? No. Okay.
Revenge porn and deep fakes also banned. These are all things that almost entirely affect women and girls, that it's this government that has taken action by banning. We'd like to go further. We're going to outlaw spiking. We're going to make sure there's a 25-year minimum sentence for domestic homicide where someone murders their partner. We're going to make sure that...
Yeah, it's the headphones, isn't it? Yeah. I can hear him going after every fucking sentence, and it's driving me mental. Like, listening to Tories usually is irritating as fuck, but this one's irritating with a side of, like, I don't know, like a fucking someone putting a matchbook to your fucking face.
Victims can give evidence quickly on videotape. It's called a Section 28 evidence.
It's almost like you say everything's okay.
To make sure that evidence is given quickly. Rape sentences have gone up from 6.5 years under Labour to about 10 years now, and we have legislated to make sure, to Richard's point, that people who are convicted of rape are not automatically released at the halfway point as they were previously.
Robbie Savage is now the Macclesfield manager. Good God. Although I should point out, I loved it when Wales played Italy, and I watched because it was illegal, an illegal stream of it from Italy, and they pronounced his name as Robbie Savage, and I thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my life.
Labour, shockingly, voted against that measure during the passage of the police crime.
No, yeah, spiking is already illegal, so yeah, I don't know what he's talking about there. Yeah.
How astonishing. Chris stands there when 97 of every 100 reported rapes in this country today, absolutely nothing will happen. And he talks about early release. Chris and his government are presiding over people being released 70 days early, a number of whom posed a threat to...
Yeah, postmistress is the name, because there's postmaster and postmistress, yeah. Which just sound a bit weird, but that's just what they were called. Leave me alone.
The public. I mean, come on, Chris, you should be apologising to this audience, not boasting.
Right, I'm going to move us on to another question very briefly from our audience.
I mean, the Labour Party policy of introducing these special rape courts, where they're going to try more rape cases, I think is an interesting thing. We'll see if that has any noticeable impact on it. Really, you're going to have to change, I think, some of the laws regarding this, and you're probably going to have to a certain extent, loosen the guidelines around the Crown Prosecution Service and which cases they bring forward as well, in order to make any real difference. But we'll wait and see. It seems like at least a thing worth trying. I don't mind that particularly. You know. What is this? Good news. Reports that Noam Chomsky has died are fake. His wife Valeria tells me. See, why did everyone get me to go early on the fucking guy's dead? Just chill. He's probably not going to fucking die that, you know. He's probably not that far off death. Just wait. Wait for the good news. No, sorry. No. It's good that he's not dead. Wait for the bad news. Don't go early. Chris Grayling, privatisation of probation service, a disaster. What a surprise. Every fucking time we privatise any system, it gets worse and is shit. But don't worry, the party that's supposed to nationalise it aren't going to do anything about it, are they? Keir. Fucking wanker.
And it's from Chris McNally.
Yes, I'm a prison officer, and the state of prison...
I should point out, Chris Grayling was a former Tory minister as well. So like, that isn't a fucking lefty saying it. Even the Tories know that privatising probation was a disaster, because they're not doing it for the good of the country, they're doing it for money.
Across the country is absolutely abysmal. If your party wins this election, what will you do to combat the
It's just another Santoran. Are they all Santorans in the fucking thing tonight?
declining conditions of this country's prisons for both prisoners and staff?
In less than a minute, let's hear from Plaid Cymru first. Rhun ap Iorwerth.
We're going to be talking about immigration later. I had family that migrated into Colchester. They were working in the prison service at the time. Many
Chomsky, not dude, what new?
years ago, but I fear that whatever problems there were in the prison service back then still exist within our prisons now. We want a radical overhaul of the way that we
yeah, I mentioned this Serbia thing earlier as well.
Build the criminal justice system in Wales. It should be devolved to us. I'm sure most of you would agree with me that the way policing and criminal justice works should be as close to the people it affects as possible. What we've seen in some of the highest incarceration rates anywhere in Europe is a failure of the people that the criminal justice system is meant to serve.
He does look a bit like Lee Evans, that is true.
We've had the building of a huge super prison in Wales.
Are we surprised, everybody, that in the immigration politics stream, comments have been turned off? I wonder why they'd have... yeah. Because you know who's going to comment underneath all of this. And you know exactly what kind of bullshit they're going to.
Causing more problems than it resolves. We need to move away from the using prisons, which are absolutely needed for the most serious of criminals, towards a system which is restorative, which does deal with crime at its source. And for prisons themselves, that would allow us then to concentrate on investing in the kinds of prisons that work.
Okay.
You'll have heard about Park Prison, privately run prison, dogged with problems in recent weeks and months. The number of deaths there consistently rising. We cannot have the prison service in the hands of the private sector.
Nick Thomas
and we need to invest in it for the future.
We should actually... You could be facing a crisis on this within weeks of a new government.
Listen, we've no doubt at all what an awful inheritance this is, and frankly our prisons are in a quite awful state at the moment, bursting at the seams. And they are in that condition because the 20,000 places, additional prison places, that the Conservatives promised to build in 2021, they simply haven't built. They allocated the money to it, they haven't even spent all the money, and that's why they find themselves in the position
But will you stick with the early release scheme, which is so unpopular with our audience?
We will not release prisoners who are assessed to be a threat to the public on that scheme, which is what this government has been doing. But we need those 20,000 additional places, and what we will do is change the...
What's this? Just come back from a Mark Thomas gig. Firstly, tell us about that, because that's dope. Question for you, who was the last elected Prime Minister to lose an election? Right, so it's none of the current Tories. So, and it wasn't Brown, and it wasn't Blair, and it wasn't Major, and it wasn't Thatcher, and it wasn't Callaghan. Heath? It must be Heath, right? Heath in 74, 73, 74, whatever. Which shows you how fucking amazingly democratic Britain is. Yeah, it's got to be Heath, hasn't it? I think. Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, I'm just going to go with that.
The planning rules. We will declare this of national importance.
So Labour's answer is more and more prisons.
Ministers can make the decision to actually put these prisons in place, and we wouldn't be, frankly, in the position we are today.
No, he wasn't first elected, was he? He was given incumbency. So does that count? Would Major count? Because he was... Hang on. He became Prime Minister not as being elected to being Prime Minister. He was gifted Prime Ministership and then won an election and then lost an election. But he wasn't elected as Prime Minister, if that makes sense. So it depends whether you count that or not. Either way, Kieran, answer the fucking question. Your own question.
If the Conservatives
Can you just
had done
confirm that
in
Labour's
the
plans
last
are
minute,
more and
this
more
is an
prison
embarrassment
spaces?
for your legacy, isn't it?
Can I answer that?
First of all, let me be clear. Let me be clear that no one who is a threat to the public is ever going to get released early. Nick Thomas-Symonds has a cheek talking about this. The last Labour government released 80,000 people early. We are building 20,000 more prison places. 7,900. 7,900.
It's still not enough.
7,900 of those will be delivered by.
Oh, you are counting, Major. Okay, I'll let that up.
Next December to make sure dangerous criminals get taken off the street. Last year we had 35,000 more successful criminal justice outcomes than we had the previous year. That is to say, more criminals were successfully prosecuted. We're going to make sure the prison places are available to take them where necessary.
Hang on, whoa. Matt, what do you mean Mark Thomas's documentaries on nuclear set us back? His documentary about the leakages from Sellafield and stuff were absolutely righteous. It's not saying nuclear power is bad, it's saying that the shortcutting of private companies involved in nuclear is bad. That's the problem.
Off the streets so they can't offend and the public are kept safe.
They have released people who are a threat to the public. Look at the inspectorate. Look what the governor of Lewis Prison said. And really, in answer to your question, I make no apology at all. I think of the terrace street I grew up in South Wales. I think those people are entitled to be kept safe, and that does mean the people who commit violent and sexual offences should be behind bars.
We've got to stop there. We've got to stop there because we're going to a break. In a moment, the biggest dividing line this election, immigration. Labour says it would scrap the Rwanda deportation scheme on day one. We'll fight it out with our 7 parties.
Are they cutting out the... No, they're not. Okay, so we can skip forward. I do want to do the immigration bit just to see how fucking rabid the Reform Party are going to be. Richard Tice no doubt will fucking be spunking wads over the immigration thing.
Welcome back to the First Sight Arts Centre in Colchester for this special extended edition of Channel 4 News. If you're just joining us, we've had half an hour of sometimes quite fiery debate on law and order with...
John Major did win a general election. What are you talking about? Ian, what parallel universe is there where Major won a general election? He won in 1992. He didn't get a massive majority. It was like 20 odd or something, but yeah, he did. Unfortunately. Kinnock bollocksed it right up.
Representatives from the 7 main political parties fighting this election. Now we're going to hear from them on immigration. It is the one big issue with very clear divisions. Who can come to this country? Who is excluded? How do they get here? How are they sent home? What are the economic benefits and the societal pressures? We have some polling on this too, but this time we've targeted the question around the 2 main parties as they are the only ones realistically who could be running the Home Office after the election. Both the Conservative Party and the Labour Party have pledged to cut net migration. That's the difference between those people coming here legally and those leaving to live abroad. It is largely...
Can you imagine Keir Starmer even having the passion inside himself to shout anything like that? Like Kinnock doing the, we're all right, like that. It was kind of dumb, but like, at least it showed he had some passion to him. Keir Starmer would be like, let me be clear. We're all right. We're all right. My father was a toolmaker, and he also used to say, we are all right. And then everyone in the audience commits fucking seppuku and tears their ears off at the same time. And everyone lived happily ever after.
Determined by the government's immigration rules. So what did people make of the Labour and Tory pledge to bring legal migration down? Well, 28% said they only believe Labour. Just 15% said they only believe the Conservatives. 43% don't believe either of them. So,
Ruined.
Clear lack of trust in both those main parties, and that rises to 52%.
Starmer would say we're alt-right. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Among the over 55 older voters. Secondly, we asked both the Conservative Party and the Labour Party have pledged to stop small boats crossing the Channel if elected at the next general election. Which of the following is closest to your view? 27% said they only believe Labour, 16% believe the Conservatives, 7% believe both of them, but again, far more people, 44%, said they don't.
Christian Guru Murthy from the 90s. Fuck, mate, from 1992. Look at him doing Kids News Round.
Killing hundreds of people every day.
Okay, that ruins the nostalgia a little. Fucking Christ. Can we get to a happier story? Oh no, it's Somali famine. Oh, for fuck's sake. Do a happy story. Oh no, it's fucking Christ. No, it's the fucking breakup of Yugoslavia. Oh,
Croatia.
God.
With limited space on the coaches, many of the children have had to leave their families behind. The road out of Sarajevo is dangerously exposed to attack. The convoy also has to pass through several army checkpoints.
Okay, I think we'll stop the news from 1992. It's fucking awful. Fuck me. What do you even say to that? I apologise. That has ruined me. Right. Talking of Yugoslavia, as we weren't. It's interesting at the Euros that there are 3 former Yugoslavian teams there. Slovenia qualified, Croatia qualified, and Serbia qualified. And I think, did Montenegro get to the last of the qualifying rounds before not getting there? So, the fucking... if Yugoslavia was one team, their third 11 qualified for the fucking European Championship. How good would that Yugoslavia team be if they were still a thing? Fuck me. Absolutely wild. Anyway.
Believe either party. Let's just get some reaction to that from Chris Philp and Nick Thomas-Simmons. Chris Philp, it is your broken policy pledges that has caused this massive lack of trust, isn't it?
Well, there's no question that the British public want net migration to be lower. They're right, we agree, it does need to be lower. Look, in recent years, of course, we have had a lot of people coming here from Ukraine and from Hong Kong fleeing the brutal repression by the Chinese Communist Party, but we need to get it down. Now,
what proportion of net migration do they take up?
So, I mean, there was about 200,000 or more from Ukraine and a similar number from Hong Kong, but we need to get the family and work numbers down as well, and we have already, not in the future, but we have already taken action to do that. For example, saying that most people coming here to study, people coming on social care visas, can't bring dependents. We're raising the salary thresholds.
We'll get to the specifics, but I just wanted to comment on the poll.
And that has, let me finish the point. That has already cut net migration by 10% year on year.
No, but nobody believes you. That's the point.
Look, I'm giving you the facts, okay, so people can just
nobody believes.
Yeah, no one believes the things you're saying, dickhead.
That was the poll.
And
let me finish,
you have allowed mass immigration in the last 3 years.
Let me finish.
You don't need to, Richard, we know.
I'll bring you in, Richard.
And the last few months...
Rabble.
Visa applications, which are a leading indicator, are down 30%.
Yeah, the
measures we are taking already will reduce net migration by 300,000.
Okay,
and in addition to that,
people are scared of immigration because they're being pumped with fear. There's already the natural kind of like weird tribal instinct of the inside-outside, in-group, out-group dynamic, which is being played upon by manipulative cunts like Nigel Farage, but he's being aided and abetted by a very pliant media, to be scared of these people. Because you'll notice people weren't anti-immigration when it came to Ukrainians, because they were told that Ukrainians are good, read, white people. Whereas Syrians are bad and we need to be scared of them. And when their children wash up dead on a beach, who cares? Afghans need to be scared. We need to be scared of those people. Africans, oh no, don't even get me started. How terrible. We need to keep those people out. people are pumped with fear by fascist and fascist adjacent media narratives. It's fucking tragic. And it's the ruination of what could be a very good country, unfortunately.
We will come to the measures.
And in addition
we will
to
come
that,
to the measures
we're
in
gonna
detail.
We're going to be imposing a parliamentary cap. So those are very clear, tangible,
what I wanted to talk
and credible
about
actions.
was the fact that both of you aren't believed by voters. Nick Thomas Simmons. Is that a problem for you, or is it rather good? Because
I think people still hate Polish migrants as well. It's just there are fewer of them now.
nobody believes you're going to
I
solve
don't
the
think the British public have grown at all in any way. We welcome the Ukrainians on the understanding that they would fuck off again afterwards. Like, you know what I mean? This wasn't like we didn't lay out the red carpet for them or anything.
problem anyway.
Of course you want to build trust, but it's no surprise that people don't have trust, having had 4 Conservative governments elected on manifestos that have all broken their promises. So those figures don't come as a surprise. Net migration is too high at 685,000, and what we need is a plan to bring it down. So firstly, what we need to do is where there are particular sectors, we need a proper plan so that we can upskill our own workforce. Take engineering, for example. Engineering visas for people coming from overseas have doubled, whilst engineering apprenticeship...
This is really boring, isn't it? It's just... This is fucking tedious. Oh, this is just... It's just a microcosm of this election. Just bigoted shite being spewed out in a boring way. Fucking hell.
Here in the UK have almost
But
halved.
what is
It
your
shows how
actual
it's
pledge?
going
Because
right.
they've taken the measures that will bring the immigration figures down. If you get into government, you'll claim that that's because of you.
They haven't taken measures to bring immigration down. You look at recent years, it's been at a record high. And what they needed to do, what the next Labour government, should we be privileged enough to form one, will do, is have a skills strategy right across those different sectors, like health and social care, for example, the IT sector, and not just move to that lever of
So
many
Nick,
people coming in
what's
from
the number of net migration?
overseas.
What's the number of net migration that you think is right for this country?
Look, honestly, he is coming ropes just at the anticipation of being able to talk about immigration. Richard Tice cannot fucking restrain himself. He's like a gimp at the leash.
Richard, a number is not a plan. What you actually
How
need
do you
is a
plan for infrastructure?
Firstly,
How do you
will
plan
be
for houses?
the
How do you plan for
workforce
doctors?
plan. And secondly, what we need to do as well is where people, like we convinced the Conservatives to abandon their discount on employing workers from overseas at 20% less than here. What they also need to do is to be able to crack down on poor employment practices where workers from overseas have been employed without proper rights and at a lower rate. That needs to be dealt with as well.
Well, here's the question. Hang on. We're
Let's
going to raise the salary threshold further to 38,000.
That really
Will you
helps
do
us
that?
in Wales.
Will you do that,
Guy.
Nick? Will you do that?
Can
Yes
I
or
just
no?
say that I think this is an utterly depressing conversation. It does not
Yes.
serve the people of Scotland, certainly, and I would argue the people of the UK. Immigration can be an economic benefit. That's the way we should look at it. It should be fair. It should be rights-based. Well, it's all...
On that point, you know what? Considering that's probably the best thing that any of the people on that stage is going to say, and Carla Dinya may have, her moments or whatever, but considering that's the most positive thing I think we're going to get out of anybody, I'm just going to leave it there. Because it's 11:20, and this entire discussion is fucking depressing. So I'm just going to stop. I hope you're okay with that. You're going to have to be, because, I'm not asking for your fucking opinion. We're not taking a fucking vote. This is not a democracy. This is entirely a one-man band. Weird. I might get my hair cut. It is looking a bit mental. I might shave it all off. It is the summer, so... And I'm told we're going to have some good weather eventually. I'll let you know if it ever fucking arrives. Global warming, my arse. No, I'm only joking. Okay. Now, I keep forgetting to do this. Someone reminded me the other day. I keep forgetting to do the...
Don't you open that track, D-O-O-O-O-O-R.
I'm not sure that's the exact way it's pronounced in the song, but thank you, Crastronomy, with 350 bits. Much love to you. I keep forgetting to do the hang on, what the fuck do I even do here? To raid out on YouTube, right? I always forget to raid out on YouTube because I'm not like used to it, because you never used to be able to fucking raid on YouTube. What does that even mean? And here we go. So you go into the thingamajig, and we'll see who's going. You go edit. What do you do again? Edit playlist? No, that's not right. Customization, redirect, add. Who's going? The Young Turks are going. Lol. President Sunday's going. He's okay. That's literally it, though. Oh my god. Sun Soul's going. Why am I still subscribed to that cunt? Anyway, okay, I'm going to send you over to President Sunday because fuck it, I can't be bothered. And I'll see you later, YouTube. Much love to you. I think we're done on YouTube.